dark skin. Rashida Strober. Everybody wants to know, who is Rashida Strober? And what's this dark skin thing she started? Well, Rashida Strober, the world's first and only dark skin activist, is the first woman in history to create a movement only for dark skin. Rashida Strober is the creator, the originator, the architect of the first platform in history for dark skin. She created this dark skin platform in the year 1998 and called it dark skin activism, and called herself the dark skin activist. Now, since 1998, Rashida Strober, the world's first and only dark skin activist, built from the ground up the dark skin activist platform into a global brand. Facts about Rashida. Rashida Strober is the originator, creator, architect of the dark skin platform. 1998, Rashida gave birth to dark skin activism with a speech about the dark skinned Sudanese model Alec Weck at St. Petersburg College. From 1998 to 2005, Rashida served as an activist in her community while continuing to develop creative works around only dark skin. In 2006, Rashida created the Dark Skin Activist Tour featuring her one-woman play, A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. In 2009, Rashida built the first dark skin website. Also in 2009, Rashida brought the first dark skin platform to social media by creating the first channel for dark skin on YouTube and social media. In 2012, Rashida created the first dark skin show that focused only on the issues of dark skin, called A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge. In 2011, Rashida created the concept, the paradigm of darkism. That's right, darkism, meaning the discrimination of dark-skinned people. And she wrote and published the book, Darkism, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against. Now, the book can be found at queenofdarkskin.com or Amazon. In 2013, Rashida wrote the first motivational book for dark-skinned females called How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet. The book can be found at queenofdarkskin.com or Amazon. In 2013, Rashida made history by appearing on TV as the first to bring the dark skin platform to the masses, by being the first to bring the bully for a dark skinned girl narrative to TV when she discussed her play A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge on Bay News 9. In 2014, Rashida brought dark skin counseling online and has since counseled countless people on colorism and darkism. She is the first person in history to do colorism and darkism counseling. In 2014, Rashida introduced the Dark Skin Activist platform to the Tommy Sotomayor Show, which was previously unheard of. Since 2014, Rashida set the colorism debate standards that all others have followed by debating countless men and women on social media in regards to colorism and darkism. YouTube Rashida Strober interviews. In 2015, the dark skin activist brand became famous and known to millions because of the Kendrick Lamar beef Rashida had with Kendrick in regards to colorism and darkism. In 2015, people all over the world wrote about the dark skin activist Rashida Strober, including The Breakfast Club and Charlemagne, making Rashida Strober Donkey of the Day for being the dark skin activist and calling out Kendrick Lamar's colorism. In 2017, Rashida was an opponent in the first colorism/darkism debate with another woman on Sonetta TV. Rashida Strober is the first artist to focus her work only on dark skin. Rashida Strober is the first author to write only on dark skin. Rashida Strober has written more books on dark skin than anyone in the world. Rashida Strober has written more plays on dark skin than anyone in the world. Rashida Strober is the creator of social commentary on dark skin. Rashida Strober is the first actress to initiate performances only on dark skin. Rashida Strober is the first debater to focus only on darkism and colorism. Rashida Strober is the creator of the paradigm darkism. Rashida Strober is the undisputed queen of dark skin, as evidenced by her stellar record that stems back to 1998 when she built the first dark skin platform called Dark Skin Activism. queenofdarkskin.com.
Boom. All right, what's up, y'all? Hold on. Let me stop
the screen sharing so y'all can see me. Hold on one second. All right, there we go. Boom. What's up, everybody? Y'all know what? I'm having some issues tonight because y'all gonna see me go through it tonight because I've been called ugly by this black man on Facebook telling me that Cardi B, light-skinned Cardi B, looks better than dark-skinned me. So I'm having some issues. You know, I started looking at myself in the mirror going, dang, why am I so black, crusty, rusty, nappy-headed, and just ugly? You know what I'm saying? When black men bring their darkest, colorist asses up onto social media. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. Back. And by the way, y'all, I got two special guests that's gonna be chiming in, and that y'all could chime in anytime y'all want to, because y'all know how I do it. It's uncut, it's unfiltered. It's Rashida Strober, the world's first and only dark-skinned activist. And bitch, Cardi B does not look better than dark-skinned me on my worst day. You know why? She's not even black. Hold on, let me get to the point. Let me get to the post, the Facebook post. These haters. I'm telling y'all, they're haters. They're mad, like I was just saying in one of the groups on Facebook. They are upset that the dark-skinned activist Rashida Strober is putting these colorist, these darkest black men on blast, and they can't handle it. They can't handle it. They want to try to destroy me. They want to try to upset me, but you're not going to stop me. Because Cardi B, first of all, Cardi B is not even a black woman. How you going to compare a non-black woman with an authentic black woman? That makes no sense. Hold on. Y'all could chime in whenever y'all get ready to. I have brother Taalik up on here. As y'all could probably hear, there's a little bit of chime in whenever y'all get ready to. Hold on one second. Y'all can chime in whenever y'all get ready to. Cause y'all.
Hey Rashida. Hey everybody. This is Brittany. Girl, my name is not showing up. I don't even know how to work Google Hangouts, but I am on here.
Yes.
And hello to everybody listening.
Don't even worry about it. This is raw and uncut. Y'all know how I do it. This ain't no this ain't no Hollywood, okay? This is not Hollywood, okay? Let's get that real clear here. I'm here to talk about these because oh my God, I'm trying to curb my cussing. I'm trying to go to the Facebook post because y'all know I like to show and prove. Ain't no way in hell I'm finna come up on no social media platform and say somebody said something if I can't prove it, if I don't have like evidence of it. So hold on, just bear with me because I'm about to go. I got something else I want to talk about too, but that's for another hangout. Because what some of these black men are trying to do, I know what y'all trying to do, but it's not gonna work. Let me find this Cardi B post. They just got upset. Let me give y'all the context of it. Yesterday, I'm writing a book right now, or I'm editing the book, should I say, called Token Dark Girl. And those of you that have followed me, you know that I have written more books on dark skin than anyone in the world. So Token Dark Girl is the latest book that I'm currently editing. The book is probably going to be done by next week. So in the course of my research for the book, one of the people I'm writing about, or I wrote about, is Lauryn Hill. So I was doing a little bit of research on Lauryn Hill, some extra research, and I went to Lauryn's website. And on the website, it talked about she's doing the tour, the 20th year anniversary tour of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, kicking off. It kicked off at the Apollo Theater on May 1st. Okay. So then I run across Drake, light-skinned Drake, and his Nice for What? I think that's the name of the song. And then I run across Cardi B, light-skinned Cardi B of all people. This oh my God, you're not even on the level. Cardi B, you're not on the level. You're not black. You're not on the level of Lauryn Hill. I run across, I think her song is called Be Careful. Both of these light-skinned people, and I don't even know if I want to call Cardi B light-skinned. Maybe I should call you straight up non-dark skinned, non-black, because you're not even black. You're not even Drake. At least I could say, okay, Drake, you mixed race. You do got some black in you. I don't know about you, Cardi B. Anyway, I ran up into both of their songs where they had sampled Lauryn Hill's classic X Factor, which completely pissed me off. Okay. Why did it piss me off? Y'all can watch the video that I made about the light skin appropriation of dark skin Lauryn Hill's X Factor. Y'all can go watch that video, that live stream. I already did that. But the bottom line is it pissed me off because as a dark skinned woman growing up in the 90s, as a dark skinned teenager growing up in the 90s, Lauryn Hill heavily influenced me. And I feel like Cardi B, of all people, you're not qualified. The song is trash. It's trash. It's straight up trash. And y'all, they mad about it. But Cardi B is a public figure. She don't get talked about. So for the people that got a problem with me talking about Cardi B, triple double you. Okay? She's a public figure. In my humble opinion, he has no right to tarnish the legacy of Lauryn Hill's X Factor with her trash sample in her song Be Careful. That set me off. So I took to Facebook with my opinion because everybody got one. And this dude, I'm going to his comment right now. I'm finna go to his comment because again, y'all, I show improve. Hold on, I'm finna share my screen. I'm finna show y'all what this dude said because he's mad. He's upset that I'm calling out darkism. He said, I'm reading it right now. Y'all see my Facebook right there. Okay, y'all see my Facebook. Cardi looks better than you, richer than you, and looks way better than you. Sit your black ass down before I have my dark-skinned baby mom, who is gorgeous, stunning Haitian woman, come, but your ugly ass to shut. And you know what? You didn't even spell your word spell right. He said, but your ugly ass to shame. P.S. I ain't gonna even read the rest of it. But y'all, that's the whole context. I'm gonna stop the screen share. That is the hold on. Let me go back real quick. Let me go back because I want to make sure that people understand, that people clearly understand the context of why I'm coming up on here making this live talking about this light, and this dude is light skinned because I went on your profile. Hold on, this is the post that I made about her. I said, how dare this light skin trick sample dark skin Lauryn Hill's X Factor. You will never be dark black Lauryn Hill. And I don't backtrack. I meant every word I said, and I'm saying it here publicly, live and on cam. That's right, because all these light-skinned women, you know what they do? They culturally appropriate. They take from the authentic black, and they make millions of dollars. J-Lo, I'm gonna talk about your ass too. You next. And you think I'm one black woman, I'm one dark-skinned woman that's not gonna sit up here and take it. I'm not gonna sit up here and praise you and bow down to you because I don't have to. I'm the authentic, the real black. That's the context. I gotta, I'm feeling kind of insecure. So I gotta keep messing with my hair because that's right. He said, I don't look better than Cardi B, light-skinned Cardi B. I'm black, crusty, rusty, and ugly. But anyway, y'all can chime in whenever y'all get ready to. Y'all can chime in. I got my brother Taalik on here. I got Brittany on here, and oh my God, Brittany.
Hey. Hey.
Oh, she gotta. You know what? Just you could go ahead and say whatever you want. Introduce yourself to the people. I want to preface this with saying that real quick. Some of y'all, the ones that have really followed me, I'm talking about the hardcore, truthful, loyal, honest people. The ones that are liars and that are not honest. I'm not talking to you. I don't care about you. I only care about the honest ones. I have been doing what I call darkism and colorism, a form of counseling for years. People from all over the world contact me, and Brittany is one of the people that I have been conversing with, and I'm very happy. Let me just say this. I think we've been conversing on and off for about a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah, a year.
I'm real happy to have you come up on here because you got a special, unique kind of story to tell about being dark skinned, which in my opinion, and y'all gonna see tonight because I'm gonna be looking at y'all comments, I think it has much to do with this this situation with this light-skinned black man who told me light-skinned Cardi B looks better than dark-skinned Rashida Strober. It has a lot to do with it, because you and I, Brittany, we talk about, you know, you're dark skinned, but your dark skin is different. So you don't experience the same type of darkism that I, as if you will, the regular black or the real black, the black that, you know, is typically the most disparaged by black people.
Right.
Over. You don't experience that. So I'm gonna shut up and let you give your take on this whole situation. And you know, go ahead.
Hey, so yeah, we have talked for about 1.5 years, and my situation with being a dark-skinned black woman has been dubious, because of the fact that at times I've experienced being treated really good because I have certain features and certain hair texture, and then there's times if I've gained a little weight and got a little darker, because I am from Miami, but I'm not in Miami right now. I've been treated pretty bad, and I've experienced both sides, which I don't think a lot of black women can say, or a lot of dark-skinned women can say, but I have experienced both ends. I've been treated good because people thought that I had an Indianish look, and then or a North African look, and then I've been treated bad simply because, you know, things may have changed over time. I may have gained some weight, or, you know, and so one of the things that I always say, and I've told Rashida, and I really do believe as a dark-skinned black woman, and it's unfortunate, when we date, we definitely have to do a little bit more research on the men that we choose, because one of the things that you never want to be is a person's fallback because he doesn't have anything, and you definitely, even if you are the quote unquote pretty dark-skinned girl, you damn sure don't want to be an exception. And so those are the things that as a dark-skinned woman, I personally have to deal with, just knowing that it is what it is. We live in a system of white supremacy, and black men are affected, and the ways in which they take out their issues is usually on the women in their life. Right. And they choose to deal with dark-skinned women when they don't have shit, as opposed to dealing with the dark-skinned woman when they have. Right. Now, if you find a man who loves himself and who knows himself as a black king, which is very rare, only because most black men have to navigate through this system of white supremacy, which means you have to deal with a white boss. You have to deal with white people on your everyday. You have to deal with white police officers who can kill you just because black men have to deal with that. It's very hard to find a black man who truly loves himself. Okay, so who genuinely truly loves himself. I'm not saying that when you have certain conversations in the house, you know, that you know, but when you go out, you represent that. Most black men who have done that have died. Tupac, Malcolm X, Marcus, these men have been murdered for doing that. And so as a black woman, as a dark-skinned black woman,
hold on 1 second, Brittany. Hold on. Somebody is asking who's talking, and I want to make sure that I give you all the respect in the world, because I respect you immensely for coming on here. Someone is asking who is talking, and I want to make sure they know who you are. I know you're not showing your face, but they know who you are. So could you just kind of please introduce yourself for people that's just coming on again and let them know who you are?
Hi, so this is Brittany, and I've spoken to Rashida for about 1.5 years in regards to dark skin issues and dark skinned women issues in particular. And so basically what I'm talking about right now is just the issues that dark skinned women have to face, and the fact that there's two sides to the dark-skinned woman struggle. There's the so-called pretty dark-skinned woman who's the exception, but then there's also the dark-skinned woman who might not be considered so attractive by European standards, which affect black males, and those women also have to deal with their own issues when it comes to just navigating through this world of white supremacy and black males who don't really know how to love themselves. And not all black men are that way. It's very few, but that's what I'm currently talking about.
Awesome, thank you. I want to get Brother Taalik to chime in on this, but I have to ask you this question, and I have to make sure that everyone understands clearly what you're saying, because I know you're not showing your face. But if you don't mind, can you describe? Because I know I've seen how you look. If you feel comfortable with it, can you describe to everyone how you look so that they can understand what you mean when you talk about there being two different types of dark-skinned black women? Can you describe look?
Absolutely. So I'm a dark-skinned woman, but I have a different type of a skin tone. So there's like a dark-skinned Indian, which looks different from a dark-skinned black person. But they're both dark-skinned, but the tone of the skin is different. So although I am a dark-skinned black woman, my skin tone varies between the Indianish looking skin tone and just a regular African American. I have a smaller nose. I have wavy curly type hair. I have a longer face, which some people might mistake me for probably a North African looking dark skinned black person as opposed to a West African dark skinned black person. And so that in of itself is causes me to probably get treated a little bit better than the stereotypical dark skinned black woman in certain instances.
You know, I have an immense amount of respect for you because you are one of the rare people that I have ran into, you and another sister that I talked to, probably about, I want to say about 3 years ago. Renzi, shout out to you if you're ever watching this, from Trinidad. And she was so honest about it. She said the same thing in regards to her looks, how she looks with someone is saying reddish undertones.
Yes.
Indian type look with the so-called quote unquote good hair. And she admitted that, yes, I do get a different type of privilege. Okay, there's another young lady. I don't know if she wants me to say. I respect people when they don't want me to, talk about exactly what they talked to me about and expose their name. But she was basically saying the same thing that you're saying, and she has the same look that you have. Mm-hmm. And so the three of you are three of the most honest dark-skinned women who are not the regular or typical dark-skinned women, who have been honest about the privilege that you receive. So you don't have any idea of how much I respect you for that. And I want to make this real clear because I'm very big on giving people their respect, especially Black women, their respect and acknowledgement for their ideas. So this is your original idea. This is your original context to which you coming on this show to speak about the privilege that you receive as the dark-skinned Black girl that does not look like the typical Black girl. So
absolutely.
Brittany is her name. And someone asked, do you have a channel? And I want to make sure that you're acknowledged for this because I could really, like I said, I respect you and I appreciate you for coming on. And I honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, Brittany, because I told you this before. I wish that I respect that you don't want to show your face, but I wish that you would at some point do that because people need to see visually. But I just respect the fact that you came on and you're telling the truth about it, because I have been telling people for the longest that it is dark skin and it is levels to it. Yes. And you are absolute proof of that. And with that being said, I want to get your opinion. What do you think with everything that you just explained about you not being the typical dark-skinned Black woman with the different skin tone, the different hair texture, the different facial features? What do you think about this comment that this light-skinned Black man made saying that Cardi B looks better than me, Rashida Strober, who's a regular old dark-skinned woman, regular dark skin with nappy hair?
That's a great question, because in the case of this particular issue, Cardi B has she has African features, but she does not have dark skin. She doesn't have dark skin. Right. Your features are not too far off from Cardi B's in the sense of where you all might, the Africanness of it. So in this case, with your dark skin and on top of that, your somewhat West African features, that is why he said what he said. Had you been a light-skinned, dark-skinned female, or had you been a dark-skinned female that had that Maya Campbell, Tatiana Ali, the other Ananda Lewis, if you had that type of look, I don't think he would have said that. So skin tone and features when it comes to Black males play a part. But when you only have one or the other, and Cardi B only has the light skin, that's what they go by. Right. And so in the case of what he was saying, it's Eurocentricity. It's Black men valuing things that look less Black, regardless if it's your skin tone or your features or your hair.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Brother Taalik, oh my God. Now see, we sit up here talking about Black men, in this case a light-skinned Black man.
what the hell do you make of all of this? Given the fact that you just heard Brittany, and I've seen you, Brittany, you're extremely beautiful, and she does have the Maya Campbell-ish type of look, okay? And, you know, what do you make of all of this as a Black man?
Well, I'll tell you, much respect to Sister Brittany and, of course, the dark-skinned activists.
Thank you.
And I'm most familiar with the situation presented towards my sister, because as you know, you probably don't know Sister Brittany, but you know, I'm very pro-Black woman, pro the sisters, and I get much hate just due to that. Probably because I was raised around sisters almost all my life. You know, my mother and sisters and aunts, and the sad thing about it, there was men in my life, but I didn't consider them men. They were sort of on the weak side. I wasn't attracted to them, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. You know, but this particular problem has been going on probably for the last few hundred years. And it's I'm glad that Rashida is bringing attention to it, because it's an issue that has not really been settled in our community, even among the so-called blackity-black type folks. Because if you look at the blackity-black type folks,
I'm sorry.
You know, when you look at the leadership and the people who they admire, the leadership is not blackity-black. It's very few in the leadership positions, or those that they admire, is blackity black. You don't see that. A lot of them is likety light, dark skinned people. Then we have another problem. We all Black, and why you hating on? That's not. See, the issue is you're trying to, or you're wanting to represent this Black. You don't have no Black as a symbol. You don't have no Black representation. What's the sense of talking all this Black? There's nothing against light-skinned persons. It's the fact that if, you know, it's like you want to represent Kentucky Fried Chicken, I guess, but you keep putting Popeyes out there. You know, it's chicken, but you know, but now it's you trying to represent this one brand here. You want to show love for the dark skin. You mean to tell me out of all the millions of people, all the thousands of people that's out here, there's nobody dark skinned that you can find, that you can line up to be like your representatives out there? And even if you look at these people personalized, they still choosing the light over the dark. One of my problems, being a dark-skinned brother, and of course, I know my message is just real. I already know that. That's just a problem in and of itself. But if a light-skinned person say what I say, I think it might come over a little bit easier. But since we hate ourselves and we have that hate, that dislike for that dark skin, when they see me, first thing in your mind, I know even subconsciously, ain't no nigga can tell me nothing. Cause you relate nigga to Black. And a nigga can't tell you nothing. So no matter how much truth I put out there, it don't make no difference. I'm a nigga and I'm Black. I don't want to listen to nothing you have to say anyway.
Right.
Myself, being a male, you know, I've been a victim of this. It's in our family.
Oh, yes.
It's enough. My mother is darker skinned than I am. And my mother used to make mockery of me as a child. You Black this, and you know, you look like. Now, to show you how dark my mother is, her nickname was Soot. Now, you know what soot is, don't you? Soot is that stuff that's in chimneys. That's how dark my mother was. And she ran around making mockery of people that was dark skinned. I said, Mama, you Blacker than they are. What the hell? But that's just showing you how deep that is.
Right.
And my mother used to tell us, a Black person can't do nothing for her.
Wow.
You know, she don't want no Black doctor.
What?
You know, just like if you was watching, remember Sanford and Son? I think it was Sanford and Son, where he was talking about where Fred didn't want no Black person to do nothing. I think it was, or I think it's the show. Anyway, you have some Black people don't want Black folks. Black people ain't got no business flying planes. Black people shouldn't be no police officer. or no dentist. We have that. This has been going on for a long time, and it's developed. It's all within ourselves. How can you look at Sister Rashida and say that she's ugly? But this is a sickness that's deep. That goes for generations.
Let me do something. Let me do something. Hold on, because I'm gonna get to the source of this. I'm gonna get to. Y'all know I love the screen share. Y'all know I love the screen share. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Here's Cardi B. To the light-skinned black man, and I'm not gonna say your name. I'm looking at it right now. I just looked at your name, and he light-skinned. Let me go back to the picture. Here's Cardi B, because I like to get to the nitty-gritty of what people say, and I like to attack it from there. So he said that Cardi B looks better than me. He also said that Cardi B got more money than me, which is true. So what I'm gonna say to Cardi B, what you could do, I'm about to drop my GoFundMe link and my PayPal link in the chat box, and it's also in the description box. Make sure you donate, because I do need some money for my dark skin activist tour. But Cardi B, there's Cardi B right there. There's pictures. Let's just look at some pictures of Cardi B. Let's look at some pictures of Cardi B. That's Cardi B. I want y'all to take a long, hard look at Cardi B. I'm looking at it right now because I'm really trying to analyze whether or not facially this woman looks better than Rashida Strober, according to the light-skinned black dude. And I want y'all to look as well. And I want y'all to give me y'all honest, objective opinion. Now let's look at Rashida Strober. Now, here's Rashida Strober. This picture right here was taken. This is a very recent picture of me. Okay. Let's look at some more pictures of Rashida Strober. Let's examine whether or not this woman really looks better than Rashida Strober. I'll be all taking a real good look. I'm gonna even pull up one of my most horrendous pictures that people love to post on social media, because I ain't scared at all. Whoop, there it is. Okay. Whoop, there it is. Now, and I'm gonna be looking at the chat box. That's a picture that a lot of people like right there. I just pulled it up anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna stop the screen sharing, and I'm gonna be looking at the chat box, and I'm looking for y'all responses. And again, I really want to know,
Sister Rashida,
this woman looks better. I really want to know. Y'all chime in whenever y'all.
Okay, look at this. Okay, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. Okay,
I'm ready.
Now look. First of all, I don't know who Cardi B is. I guess she's some type of rapper. But I don't know too much about Cardi B, except that picture that you shown. I think I saw her perform on that video with Bruno Mars. Finesse Me or some crap, whatever it was. I think that's the only thing I know about Cardi B. The first thing we have to take in consideration is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know, some people think that pigs are beautiful. Some people think pigs are ugly. You know, some people think ducks is beautiful. Some people think so. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. This guy, you know, if he think, I mean, that's his prerogative. So what? Be it. However, our choices can be tainted by darkism.
Right.
That's where your problem lies.
Me and Brittany on the same page. You just said right at
Hey, see, when you can't be honest with yourself, when you have been influenced by or conditioned to believe something is better than something else, that's when the problem arises.
Mm-hmm.
So Cardi B, she's a nice looking sister. I mean, I guess she's a sister. I don't know, whatever. You know, she's a nice looking person. But at the same time, is he saying this because she is who she is, or because he's been conditioned to look at things in that light? That's the problem. You know,
absolutely.
When we look at like the sister was talking about, when you're dark skinned and you have the African features, that makes it even worse.
Mm-hmm.
We've been programmed to be anti-African or those people on the continent. So if you're dark skinned and look like that, you know, you are African booty scratcher. you know, all these different things. Those are the type of features. Remember the old racist cartoons? You know how they used to draw them? And they exaggerate the features on those cartoons? These are the features that we don't want nothing to do with. However, like this sister said, if you are dark-skinned and your nose is a little bit more narrow, you don't have much lip, maybe you don't have a lot of booty either. You know, you look, you know, perhaps that is more fair-seeming to you. You know, more, you sort of more European-like, and that's more acceptable. However, like the sister said, see, because when you gain a little weight, like the sister said, your nose starting to get a little bigger. You know, you start to get a little out there. You become an African booty scratcher, baby. So we have to look at those. These are the things that is affected by being conditioned, or this sickness of darkism that we face. Our opinion is not real. It's influenced by TV. It's influenced by the radio. It's influenced by, like the sister said again, Brittany, by white supremacy or pink supremacy. This has been going on for a long time. They paint what beauty is all over the world.
Absolutely.
Don't you know you even have Chinese and Japanese people lightening their skin, trying to look like Europeans.
Global darkism.
Yeah. Even in Africa, they doing it. They bleaching their skin and trying to look like Europeans. It's all over the world. So here you have a young man. He's probably a young boy. I probably would guess in his 20s.
Yeah.
Growing up, the only thing he's seen is light skin chicks and movies and videos and all like that. What do you expect him to say? He's been programmed that way, and he don't even know it. He's just talking out of his mind. He don't even know, really. Some people, don't you know, some people just talk and don't even know they've been programmed. They don't know. They just talking out of their mind. He's a young, Rashida, why you letting this man get you all upset? You know that boy don't know no better.
Hey, what you gotta say, Brittany?
I know he don't know no better. Hey, if it was an old geezer like me, that'd be different. But you know that young boy don't know no better. He don't know. He just talking out of his mind. Plus, another thing, some people said things because they know they're gonna piss you off. So that I said that Rashida's ugly.
He pissed me off. That's
right. Yeah. Right. So I'm gonna say Rashida's ugly. So because I want to watch her go off, and then you say, "You think I'm ugly?" And you got it. He's like in the background. Yeah, I got her. So you got to watch for stuff like that. People say something they don't even mean. They just want to get some excitement out, because you know this is the media. This is entertainment. They're not really looking at the serious issue, because darkism hurts people. There are those who are in the background right now suffering from darkism, being made mockery because of their dark skin, and too afraid to say anything. They suffer, like they say, they suffer in silence.
Right.
Not able to speak. And it's happening in their family. Like I told you, my mother, here I am, I'm living with this woman 24 hours a day, and I have to hear this. So as a child, I'm wondering, like, what's wrong with me? I'm thinking to myself, because I'm being made mockery as a little boy, I'm wondering, how can I light, here I am, I'm trying to wonder, how can I lighten my skin up?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, being that you said that your mother had issues with dark skin, and you being a dark-skinned black male, did that affect your, and this goes back to what I was saying when I was saying that black women, dark-skinned black women, have to really dig deep when they deal with a black man, because it's so much other things that happen to him on his way to becoming a man that affects how he feels about himself and the women that he chooses. Did it at any point affect you and the type of women that you chose to deal with? And if it has, at what point did it change, if it has changed?
Well, actually, like I said, I was raised around women all my life. And they was dark-skinned women. My mother and all of us was, dark-skinned people. But what saved me from, unlike this poor man that's making mockery of Rashida, I was introduced to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at a young age. Maybe 7 or 8, 9 years old. I would guess maybe 8. Maybe even less, because I was an avid reader. I can't even remember a time I couldn't read. And so I was introduced to those teachings, and that's really what saved me. His teachings, of course, is pro-black. And listening to what he had to say and reading those books gave me pride and self-esteem, to the point I was able to have pride in myself Plus, I was able to defend my dark skin. So when my mother came, after I got filled up with all this knowledge, when mama came, I was ready for her. Boy, you know, mama, you know, and I was just breaking it down about the dark skin. She said, boy, go outside and play. Nobody want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But I learned that, and I learned how to love my dark skin instead of hating my dark skin. I learned how to embrace it because of those teachings, Nation of Islam teaching. And as I grew up, since I learned how to love my dark skin, I did not see color. I did not see a color in different women that I became involved with. You know, she was just a sister. I didn't trip off, oh, this one has to be light skinned and she has to have this type of hair. I didn't trip off of that. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. It didn't have nothing to do with your dark skin or your hair or nothing. Matter of fact, some of the supposed sisters didn't have no hair. That's bad. And so, you know, y'all sisters, y'all not gonna, you know, you can't get away with nothing. You know, if you put the weaves in your hair, they're gonna talk about it. But if you go natural and you can't really grow no hair, then they're gonna call you a bald head bitch and all this. Yeah, y'all can't win for losing. I don't care what you do. If you wear the lipstick, don't wear the lipstick. If you wear the weave, don't wear the weave. Y'all, with these cats, you're not going to win.
Oh, late.
No matter what you do.
Right.
But they tell you to go natural. You go natural to have something to say about it. Then you try to make up. That's why a lot of sisters do what they do. They think that you want a European looking woman, so they get the weave. They put the weave in the hair to get the long hair, and they put on the lip. They look like the European.
And that's what I was telling Rashida earlier. That's what I was saying. A lot of black women wear makeup, wear weave because they think that's what black men want to see. Black men don't want to see black women in their natural state. Most of them, because most black women do not look North African. Most black women look West African, and West African features in this society is deemed as unattractive features. Right. And that's just the fact of it. And for me personally, as a dark-skinned black woman, I've experienced both ends. Like I've said, when I've gained a little weight, and I'm from Miami, the sun is a little hotter down there. I noticed that I was treated differently, although I still was given a little bit of an edge because I had long hair and certain features. I had an Indian teacher one time. I was like 16. The lady thought I was Indian. She told me, and this, I had my hair, you know, it wasn't permed, but it was straightened out. And so I wasn't doing no work in this lady's class. She ended up passing me. And when I spoke to someone and she overheard the conversation and I said I was an African-American female, somehow that came about. She was like, oh, I thought you were Indian. I thought you were Indian. At that point, I failed, as I should have failed the class. So darkism and racism, it affected me in that sense. Another sense, I'm just going to be honest, and this is something that I've never even said. I don't even think I told Rashida. Black women connect to each other in struggle. Black women connect to other black women via a struggle, whether that struggle be a financial struggle or it be a physical struggle, whether that black woman is overweight, whether that black woman may be dark skinned, or whether that black woman may have a certain look, again, that most black men and this European society just does not accept. Most black women connect to each other via a struggle. Because I did not have certain struggles in certain things that some black women would deem as a struggle, a lot of black women did not accept me. And that's just being honest. Even dark skinned women were not very accepting of me. And being from Miami, a lot of dark-skinned women are from the Caribbean. So there was an issue on a lot of different ends. Being the so-called cute dark-skinned girl brought problems in of itself. Whereas being the so-called unattractive dark-skinned girls, they were able to click up because they had that struggle that they felt they could connect to with each other. Mm-hmm. So it happens. It's so many different isms that come with this whole dark-skinned thing that a lot of people we just have not been touched on. It's not just being bullied because you're dark skinned with a broad nose or broad lips. There's so many different things when it comes to this issue when it comes with black women that we ostracize each other. If you're light skinned and a dark skinned black female feels like you have a certain privilege or you're accepted in this European society a little bit more, that dark skinned chick may be a little nastier to you. Or if you are a light skinned chick, you may be nasty or look down on that dark skinned chick simply because you think that she ain't shit or because you feel like you have that privilege. If you are a dark-skinned chick with long hair and narrow features, some dark-skinned girls might not deal with you because they feel like you have a privilege in this society or the system that they do not have. And vice versa. You may feel like you don't want to be a part of that struggle, so you might look down on them. Everybody wants to feel like they're at some point of a privilege, especially in the Black community. So at any time, whenever we feel like we have something over that other Black person, we will either tear that person down and make that person feel like I'm better than you in some kind of way, or you're not one of us. So it happens on both ends. And I felt that you're not one of us, but I've also been teased because I was dark skinned, because they couldn't tease me on, oh, you got a big nose, your lips are big, or your hair is nappy. So I was teased on the dark skin aspect when they couldn't find anything else. So I've experienced it in many different forms. With Black males, I've never had an issue attracting Black males. But again, when I did gain a little bit of weight, I did notice that there was a change, but I never really had an issue. I attracted as many Black males as white males, but I understand that when it comes to a dark-skinned woman, like, again, that have West African features, they might not have that same luxury of attracting a Black man if they want a Black man. And so that at that point, they have to go, or they feel like they have to go to white men or Asian men who will show them love. And to be honest with you, if a Black man isn't showing you love, or Black men they're not showing you love, at what point do you keep waiting to find a Black man? Whoever shows you love is who you should go to. Just being honest, you shouldn't wait for somebody to appreciate you. That's just what it is. But me personally, I only date and deal with Black men, but I can't speak on it in a negative aspect because I've never had Black men not find me attractive simply because of certain features or that North African look.
And so from that perspective, let me ask you this. Let's say I look like you. Do you think that this light-skinned Black man would have said that Cardi B looks better than me if I had features like you?
That's a good question, because that's something that you would actually have to ask him. And the reason why I say that is because you don't know whether or not he's saying that. And we spoke about this earlier, but again, you don't know whether he's saying this because of your skin tone. Again, as he's what's your name? I'm sorry.
You can call me Angelsnupnup7.
Just like Angel said, dark skin, people are conditioned to believing that dark skin is ugly, but then you got featureism and you got texturism, you got other isms that come with that. So I'm not sure at what perspective he was speaking on. He could have been talking about your complexion. He could have been talking about your features. That I don't know. That's something that he would have to be able to explain.
Right. Yeah. And we also had this conversation earlier as well. It all, from me, goes back to dark skin, having dark skin. Yes, there's levels to it. As clearly, you are a clear example of it. But the thing is, even beautiful, I remember Nia Long, which some people, they would say, oh, she's not really dark skinned, but Nia Long is not a light skinned Black woman at all. But there was a documentary that was done a couple of years back. I cannot think of the person going to come to me, the person that created this documentary. But he was talking to Black actresses in Hollywood. And Nia Long talked about how she was paid less than white actresses who were basically on the same level with her. Now here you have a darker skinned Black actress. She's not super dark skinned, but a darker skinned Black actress in Hollywood who's just as talented, who's put in just as much work as these white actresses, but yet she's still being impacted by her dark skin. So and also here you have a beautiful dark-skinned Black woman. So here's another thing. This is another reason why I go back to, yes, it's always the dark skin. I think we had this conversation earlier, and I love you to death, Shameen. I love you. But my best friend, if you ever watch it, Shameen, you know I love you. I say this in love, and you know I say this to your face. My best friend is a light-skinned Black woman that does not look better than me at all. She doesn't. Okay. I ain't gonna go into detail. I went into detail with you earlier, Brittany, but I ain't gonna go into detail. She does not look better than me. But our whole lives, since we've been best friends since the age of 15 years old, she has attracted more Black men than I ever have. Okay. So again, for me, it goes back to dark skin. Now, within the dark skin community, there are levels to darkism. Obviously, I talked about in a video I did about the discrimination that I experienced going to an Indian establishment where I was standing in line. I was the next person to go, and a light-skinned Black woman waltzed up in there, and they took that light-skinned Black woman before me like I was trash. Okay, so there's levels to it. So I always go back to, and I respect every single thing that y'all are saying. In fact, I'm very honored to have y'all up on here getting this beautiful perspective here. You know, but for me, it always goes back to dark skin, because I've seen too many instances where a non-dark skinned woman was clearly not as good looking, and I'm talking about the body, all of that, the total package, yet men still advocate to white skin.
But can I chime in on that, Rashida? Hello?
I'm listening. We're listening to you.
Okay, so there's a different, when it comes to dark skin, there's dark skinned Indians, there's dark skinned Hispanics. But that dark skinned person is still different from a light skinned Black person. Blackness in of itself in this white supremacist system is seen as the bottom of the totem pole, right? So you can have a dark skinned Indian girl with straight hair, and she's obviously Indian, and you can have a light skinned Black woman, right? That dark-skinned Indian is going to be treated better than that light-skinned Black woman in that Indian and or any Asian establishment, simply because she's not Black, right? So now you have a dark-skinned Black woman who is clearly Black. You're not ambiguous in any way, which is a beautiful thing, but you're clearly Black. And then you have a light-skinned woman who is clearly Black. The only thing they can go by between the two of you is complexion. So it is complexion, and it's also features. If you had features that were non-Black, you might have gotten treated better, because they probably would have thought that you were racially ambiguous. If you looked like Ananda Lewis, who may be in some instances racially ambiguous, you might have gotten treated better, because again, Black is at the bottom of the totem pole. When we're speaking of Black, we're not just speaking of simply just the color, we're speaking of the race. So so-called African Americans. So again, if you have a Black Indian and a Black African American, that Black Indian is going to be treated better than you in certain Asian, and Asian, as you all know, is Chinese, Indian, all of that. That Black Indian is going to be treated better. So in the case of what you were talking about, Rashida, yes, skin tone was the only issue, but is that the only issue in how people are judged? No. Features and hair texture do play a part, because you're not racially ambiguous. And that Black woman, that other Black woman, the only thing they had to go off was her skin tone. So again, anything that's less Black, whether it's skin tone, it's features, it's hair, then hey. But in your particular experience, the only thing that you can speak to is the complexion thing, because that's it. That's you don't have other ambiguous features. So in your case, yes, it was skin tone, but those are not the only things that people judge.
Hence the reason why you're here, because again, and I want to make clear to everybody that's watching, you represent the other side of the darkism coin when we talk about the levels to darkism based upon the texture, and I call it the texture of dark skin, where you have the West Africanish texture versus, like you said, the Indian looking texture. There are differences,
right?
Can you because I know you got a lot more experiences that you want to share, and share as much as you feel comfortable with, because I know we talked about, hold on one second, let me my phone was ringing. I know we talked about a lot of things, and you to speak on what you feel comfortable speaking on. I was really interested in them hearing about your college experience, if you feel comfortable talking about it.
Absolutely. So at Howard is very Howard has a racist history, has a very colorist history. I went to Howard University, and Howard University was initially simply for biracial Black people. Howard was a man who had biracial daughters, and that was what the school was for. So it has a very colorist history. If you were a dark-skinned Black female, you could not attend Howard. Nowadays at Howard, colorism still plays a part, but it's a lot of classism. And DC in of itself is a very classist state when it comes to Black women, or Black people. Sorry, Black people. So my experience at Howard, I come from a family where my dad is an accountant who makes over $200,000 a year. My mom is a school teacher who makes $60,000 a year. Okay. So when I went to Howard, as far as the financial aspect of it, I would fit in, but because I grew up in an area, I had family members that were in areas of poverty, I was able to see things from a different perspective. Whereas most of the kids at Howard University just grew up simply around a lot of white people and they wanted to go to that particular school to get a black experience. That was not my case. I had a black experience. I just had parents that had money. And so in that case, I saw a lot of things. I saw things that I wasn't too fond of. There was an issue where there was this light-skinned girl who did not like me just because I was dark-skinned, walking with my head up. And I made complaints because she tried to fight me, went out, said all this crazy stuff about what she was going to do. And so I purposely went to administration and they did not take my claims serious. All they said was she's bipolar and this and this and that. And I understood where it came from. It came from the fact that this was a light-skinned girl at Howard University who the school was made for. It was intended for people that look like her. It was not intended for people that look like me. So my complaint was null and void. And so, you know, and that's just what it is. That was what my experience was at Howard University. A lot of dark-skinned girls would confide in me in confidence and would just sit there and tell me how dark-skinned males did not find them attractive. Again, that was not my experience. But it was just a lot of dark-skinned women at Howard University that had low self-esteem, and the only thing that they relied on was their education or how smart they were, but not their looks. And as a woman, you want to be seen as attractive. I don't give a damn how smart you are, but you know, that's just what it is. That's how it was at Howard. As far as with my family, the same issue. My mom was lighter than my aunt. My mom got treated better. My mom had an issue with dark skin. She even told me when I was about 14 that she wished that she had married a lighter skinned man so that she could have had lighter skinned kids. So, you know, darkism and
Your mother told you that?
Yes.
How did you feel when she told you that?
I was hurt. I was 14 years old and I was sitting on the couch talking to my grandmother and my mom when I went off, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And then she said, "Well, you know, my friend told her, or her mama told her that, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal." So it was a lot of things that I've experienced as far as in my family with colorism, as far as the aspect of, again, people finding me attractive. I never had that issue. So it also played with my mind because you got your family, your mama telling you one thing, but then the outside world is telling you that you're pretty. I never really had the outside world say you an ugly black bitch. You know what I'm saying? So my situation was very it came from two different perspectives when it comes to this whole darkism thing. My mama was very she had a lot of self-hate and a lot of issues because my dad made so much money. He was dealing with a lot of white people and probably wanted at some point let her know he probably wanted a white woman. They got together when he didn't have anything. So now he's dealing with all these white men in corporate America. My mom is a black woman, but she has certain features like I have, but she's still not white. So she had an issue with herself, which then she reflected on her daughters, which is me and my sister.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just want to know, and I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know clearly the skin tone of your mom and dad. Could you just please?
They're both brown skin, like a they would be considered, they're like my color.
Okay.
I guess it would be considered dark skin. But there's like a brownish dark skin. And my mom is like a shade lighter than my dad. A shade or two lighter than my dad.
Okay, and just for the record, because there's new people tuning in, can you just briefly tell us how you look?
Yeah, I have dark skin, but it's like a brownish dark skin, which has like, again, there's an Indianish look or in an African look. So I have more like of an Indianish dark skin look. I have narrow features. I have a longer, like a narrow face. I have a smaller nose. I have curlier hair or wavier, curlier type hair, big round eyes, which is oftentimes associated with either East Indian, North African, or something to that effect. So it's like a North African type of a look.
Okay. Can you, if you feel comfortable, again, I want to make sure you feel, because I know you got a lot of stories to tell and we talked about a lot. So whatever you feel comfortable, shoot. Earlier we was talking about a situation that occurred in the city that you live in, where you was describing, you talked about the cliques that dark-skinned women of certain hues and hair tones and features join versus other dark-skinned women. And you sort of had an issue going on with some dark-skinned women that didn't look like you. Do you feel comfortable talking about that? Because I think that's really important to talk about, because it just kind of clearly shows that which is why the discussion on darkism is so important, because once we get rid of racism, what's next? Once we get rid of white supremacy, what's next?
Yeah.
What I see is a system based upon class, and that's going to be heavily based upon intra-darkism. So if you could please speak to that, I would love.
Sure. So as everybody know, Amara La Negra is from Miami. So a lot of her dark skin, the issues that she faced as a dark skinned woman happened in Miami, Florida. And so in Miami, there's colorism and there's also culturalism, more so than I guess it would be racism, because there's not a lot of European Anglo-Saxons in Miami. There are European Hispanics in Miami. And so if you are a Black person that speaks Spanish, you might get a pass over a Black person who don't speak Spanish. So that's what I mean when I say culturalism. Growing up in Miami, I went to a private school up until the time I was like in about 9. And so I talked proper. I was dark skinned. I had long hair, and I had certain features that probably were not stereotypical to the African American girls that were in the environment when I went to a public school, which was more so in a just what kind of area would you like? It was just a regular area where it wasn't no suburban area. It was just a regular environment. And so one of the things that I noticed was that I was treated different from a lot of the dark-skinned girls that were there. And some of the dark-skinned girls that went to that school also did treat me different. I was treated different for those particular reasons. I was treated as though I was soft, where in Miami, being the soft girl is definitely not something that, it's not something that's upheld at all. If you're a dark-skinned girl, it's oftentimes you got to be that hard girl, you got to be that hood girl, and that was just not me. That was not my persona. So I was treated differently because of that. I remember I had it was a Hispanic lady. It was her and another Hispanic lady. They were talking, and she was like, "Why is her hair so long?" And I overheard the conversation. And the lady said, "Oh, she's an Indian. She's one of those Indians that wear the hats, whatever that means." So I was treated different than a lot of the Black girls. I'm not a light-skinned chick, so I felt like I shouldn't have had that issue. But it was like, where does she fit in? Where does she belong? I talked proper. I was dark-skinned. I had long hair, and so that coupled with certain features just made me look different.
I want to give respect to another dark-skinned woman that I spoke to. I'm not going to say her name. I could say her name, but I just want to give her respect because she's the first person that I heard say these words. She said, "Pretty dark-skinned girl privilege." And listening to you talk about this, would you say that's what you had going on?
No, I mean, because in that particular instance, I wasn't treated nice by other dark-skinned females.
Right. No,
so that wasn't
not in respect to other dark-skinned females, but I'm saying like in general, if you were treated better as a dark-skinned woman because of the hair and the texture of your skin, would you consider that to be a type of pretty girl dark skin privilege?
Right, and treated better in what instance? Is it by men? Is it by colleagues at work? Treated better in what particular instance?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think outside of dark skinned women, I'm not even talking about it, in society as a whole, do you think with the look that you have that is not the typical West African, nappy-headed, broad-nosed, regular dark-skinned girl looks, do you think that you are treated better? Let me ask you that question first.
That is correct, because I've had police officers, white male police officers, and even white women police officers, where I literally did things which should have gotten me a ticket and I got off. I've never had a bad instance with the white police officer or a white male that was in a position of authority in a sense where I could have gotten in trouble. And part of that is because, I mean, white men, if they find you attractive, they find you attractive. But I'm gonna just give you an example. Sandra Bland was a brown-skinned to dark-skinned woman who had West African features, and her hair was dreaded, and she was treated horribly and obviously killed.
Right.
Whereas I am a dark-skinned black woman, but when that white man sees me, he might be able to see something that he can identify with. White people are self-identifying to a fault. When they see Sandra Bland, they see a pure black woman. When that white male sees me, he might be able to see something, whether it be because my nose is smaller, whether it be because of how I talk a little proper. He sees something that he can identify with. So at that point, he may ease up on me. You know what I'm saying? He might not treat me as aggressively, because to him, I don't look as aggressive.
My Tribe TV, I'm looking at the chat as you're talking. They're responding to what you're saying. I just want to chime in real quick with a comment. My Tribe TV, All Out Attack says Sandra Bland was brown skinned. But I think that Brittany is explaining the point of how the difference is. I don't think that he's understanding where you're coming from. Let me let you, I wanted to throw that in there because he's she's brown skinned, but go ahead.
So no, but Sandra Bland is brown to dark skin. Me and Sandra Bland are not too far off from as far as complexion goes, as Rashida knows. So she's still a brown to the dark skin woman, considerably dark skin. There's also levels to dark skin. You know, there's Wesley Snipes dark, there's Lupita dark, then you got Kelly Rowland who's dark, and there Gabrielle Union. So there's different levels of it, but she still would be considered a dark skinned woman. So in society, I have gotten treated a little bit better because of that. I remember I went off on some white women in a store that worked at I think it was Dollar General, and I called them every cracker and all this in the book. They did not call the police on me right away, and part of that was because, again, I'm just being real, when white women understand the privilege that attractive black women have when it comes to white males and authority. An attractive black woman can get away with certain things with even an unattractive white woman. So they know who they can fuck with. Excuse my language. An attractive black woman can get away with a lot of shit. Tyra Banks or a Naomi Campbell looking type black woman can get away with certain situations when it comes to the police. That was even in slavery. They showed and they broadcasted the mammy on purpose because that type of black woman could not get away with certain things, you know, and she was not a threat to white women. Now you have a black woman such as myself or such as a Tyra or such as that white girl dipped in chocolate look. That white men love black women. That's just period. And then on top of that, if you have a look that they can identify with, if you have a nose structure or a facial structure that they feel that a lot of them even considered North Africans Caucasian because that was something that they could identify with in their mind. They wanted to take that and claim that.
See,
right? So,
can I say something? I hate to cut you off because I'm looking at these comments. I just got a comment here. You must have you just tuned in, Tanya Johns. Let me just say this. You know, I'm reading your comment. You said that, and y'all know I love y'all, but I gotta be honest. You said that I just tuned in and this chick sounds ridiculous. No, let me tell you, I've been talking to, just hear me out on this. I have been talking to Brittany for about 1.5 years. Okay. I've also had an opportunity to see how she looks. And the reason why she's on this live stream with me, first of all, I asked her to come on here. And the reason I asked her to come on here, the number one reason is because she's being honest. She's telling the truth about what a lot of us regular, typical looking dark-skinned women know within. She's actually speaking the truth. In the beginning of this live stream, I said I met 3 dark-skinned women who are ambiguous looking type dark-skinned women who are not the typical dark-skinned women. And they were honest. So she's actually coming on here, in my humble opinion, doing a service to the paradigm of darkism by speaking on the differences that a dark-skinned woman that looks like Rashida Strober, regular dark skin with nappy hair, would receive versus a dark-skinned woman that has a look like I always say Chili from the group T-Boz or Tatiana Ali. And I love you, Tanya Johns. I want you to really understand where Brittany is coming from. I have a tremendous amount of respect for her because she's actually telling the truth. I love truth tellers.
And I do want to say this. I'm still a black woman. So if I get too out of line, I guarantee, which I've never had this issue, but if I were to get too far out of line because I am black, I would still get treated like a black person. Don't get it twisted. But on a surface level, yes, I do get treated a little bit differently simply because I might have a look that they do not deem as too black or too African. I mean, again, they have labeled North Africans as Caucasians because they have a slimmer nose or a longer face or, you know, different hair textures. So it is what it is. That's just that's my experience as a dark-skinned woman that does not have West African features, which most people are common. They're used to hearing light-skinned women say this, but they're not accustomed to hearing a dark-skinned woman with certain features say what I'm saying, and that's the reason why it needs to be brought to the forefront. I have been treated differently by black males. I've been treated like that so-called light-skinned girl by black males, and I'm not light-skinned, but because I have a certain hair texture that they find amusing, or certain features, facial features that they might be like, oh, where you from? Well, you mixed with a little some, you got some Indian in your family, and not the Indian, the Cherokee Indian, but the Arabian Indians, or the Asian Indians. Sorry. So, I have been treated differently. It is what it is. I mean, I've gotten away with some with certain things, but again, I'm still a black person, so they'll still treat me like if they felt like they needed to. That's just what it is.
Right.
I'm looking at some of these comments. Scotty Lee, I'm just going to read his comment here because he just won't stop. And I'm going to acknowledge what you're saying. Y'all could chime in on this. He says, how come light-skinned women don't rant like this? Dark-skinned people feel some type of way. Y'all can chime in whenever y'all get ready to. I just wanted to read that comment because, apparently some people.
I tell you, it sounds the same like Caucasian people always say, why Negroes always angry? Negroes always complain about this and Negroes always complain. Well, maybe because we've been hurt. Maybe because we've suffered injustice. Maybe because we are feeling pain. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's the reason why, sir. You live a comfortable life. I'm very sure the rich don't run around wondering, I wonder how I'm going to pay my bill. I wonder who's going to walk the dog. They don't have worries like that. People act this way because they're going through hurt. They're going through pain. That's the reason why. Because there's a difference. There's a difference in this society when you've been exploited, or there is you are discriminated against because of your skin color. Life is harder for you. So when you have a preference in this society of or light skin is favored, it's gonna be more comfortable for you. But those of us who have dark skin, those of us who have to walk this road, we understand and we know that the road in this life can get pretty rocky, and it's because of your dark skin. It's simple as that. Now, if we switched roles and went to a place where dark skin was favored, you be the one that's crying. That's just the bottom line. Because now the roles have been reversed, which it shouldn't be like that anywhere. All this should not even exist, but it does. It's just a reality of it. That's why we talk. That's why, and it's best for us to talk. And just like Brittany is here and Rashida is bringing this out it's best for us to talk and put this out in the open because of course, as you know, the stress of holding this inside of us, that's detrimental also.
And another point I want to bring to the fore why Brittany is so important to this discussion. And I really want us to really think about this. Let's say we have a situation where we completely, and I touched on this earlier, but I got to do it again because more people are tuning in. If we get to a situation where we completely eradicate racism, let's just say, just to give an example, we go into a community where it's all black. And I mean, I'm not talking about just in America where there's pockets of blackness, where we actually have a black nation.
Right.
The situation that Brittany has described in regards to her particular dark-skinned phenotype, that is not the typical dark-skinned phenotype, which is the majority. Are we going to treat each other differently based upon the texture of our hair, based upon the darkness of our skin in terms of the levels and the textures of our skin, based upon the wideness of our nose, the thinness of our nose, the fullness of our lips. Are we going to start treating each other? Again, this whole idea, which is, to be honest with y'all, and people criticized me when I first started talking about why aren't you attacking white supremacy? Well, you know what? White supremacy is a given when we talk about darkism. We know that
did she freeze up?
that is intra-darkism within the Black community. That's the problem. That's why Brittany is important to this discussion. Because fear, and I've seen this firsthand, is Black people. If we get rid of racism, if we build our own Black nation, Black people are going to start treating each other differently based upon the darkness of our skin within the community of dark-skinned people. I see that huge problem. So it's better to start addressing these things right now because I'm forward thinking. I've always believed, and I'm going to continue to believe until the day I die, that blessings to the Honorable Marcus Garvey, I'm always going to believe that we're going to have that Black nation. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So we got to start preparing for these things. We can't be saying, oh, because, you know, you look like Brittany, you have this straight hair, this good hair, we're going to treat you better. Or, oh, because you look like Rashida, you know, you super dark skinned, you got the kiki hair, you know, we're going to treat you less than, or we're going to treat you better. We can't do that. We got to really start to look into these things and examine how are we going to really get to real, true equalization. That's what I'm after, y'all. The real, true equalization of dark skin.
The reality is that ain't gonna happen because it's just too many people in this world who are color struck and other different things that they got going on with them. So the only way that could,
you do know that's what I'm actually fighting for, though.
Right. I mean, but it has to start within that person. So, for instance, I love dark-skinned men. I prefer Black men. I mean, regardless of the skin tone, but I love dark-skinned Black men. Like, again, but I've never had an issue with dark-skinned Black men. So, but I also know myself as a Black person, regardless of, you know, the hair type or whatever, regardless of all of that, I know who I am as a Black person. So I just love being Black. I love my melanin. I know who white people are. So I don't really, you know, but it bothers me when Black people, it just bothers me when Black people do the discriminatory bullshit within each other, like within our own communities. So, but it has to start within that particular person. They have to have knowledge of self, and they have to want to seek that knowledge however it is that they seek it. Like Angel said, he looked at a lot of Elijah Muhammad, I believe, or Farrakhan videos. Myself, I looked up a lot of Malcolm X. I know what the 5%ers are. I know the power of my melanin. I know the power of my hair. I know the power of me as a Black, a so-called African American person. And so when you know that, when you truly know that, and not just something that you want to just hop on as a cultural fad, you will really love who you are. You will really love Black features. You will really love Blackness. You will love that so-called African American Blackness, which I believe that African American people are different, but that's a whole completely different topic, but that ties into this. So you have to kind of know who you are as a Black, so-called African American person in order to really love who you are.
Answering this question right here, but I gotta chime in here. Some Penny Proud asked, why so much love for dark-skinned men? Ugh.
I mean, like I said, I love Black men, period. Dark-skinned men, the dark skin, the melanin is just beautiful to me. I mean, it's beautiful. It's pure. Melanin is beautiful.
I hope that answered your question.
Well, you want to know something also? I'll tell you this. And I use Malcolm X's mother as an example. One of the reasons why Malcolm X's mother chose a dark-skinned man was to give melanin to her children. That's what she wanted. So she wanted to try to bring that darkness back to the race. You can't bring the darkness. You can't bring the darkness back to the race if you put to somebody who has less melanin. You can't make we can't make the race or the people more darker going to the light. It's just not going to happen. And if you begin to love darkness or you begin to love black, it's just a natural thing. If you have a sister and the only person she's ever probably dated was Caucasian men all her life and whatever, but when that sister begins to learn how to love herself, she's gonna want an example. She wants a symbol
exactly
of that love, and she's gonna be naturally attracted to the people like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to fight them all off. You know what I'm saying?
I love
it. But that's just it. When you begin to fall in love with yourself. However, at the same time, just like Sister Brittany was talking about, she was talking about we in our condition right now, the reality of an all black nation, and we are void of this mentality. Chances are that's not going to be a reality. However, you can't say that for our children. Since we know we do know better. See, we've been tainted by the skunk. And I don't know if many of y'all had any adventures with a skunk. Because when a skunk get that stench on you, it's very difficult to get off. We've been in a stench going on 500 years. So we're gonna carry that stench with us. But since we know better, our babies are pure. We can show them the right road to travel.
Right.
So we can establish a new nation. We can establish a new reality for the babies. But for us, we spoil goods.
And Angel, let me say this. Since you speak on Malcolm X, what I'm saying in regards to even Malcolm X said it, the hair texture, the nose, the lips, wanting to look more European, that also plays a part in how you're treated. It's not just your skin tone.
Right, absolutely. In this society.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's definitely because it's been spread all over this planet. I mean, we were born into this. We have no control of it. It's just the way that it is. Even when it comes to class, I was just learning. I was watching a documentary. I think it was in India. If you're born poor, that's where you belong. They don't expect you to come up out of that. That's where you belong. The rich belongs to the rich. The poor, the middle, wherever you was born in, that's where you stay. They don't try to encourage the people to come up out of these classes. This is what you are. This is what you will be. You were born this way and you will die this way. So here we are in a situation where this is just the way it's supposed to be, unless we change it. And right now I hear a lot of talk, but we're not really making an effort. And it's so sick. Like I told you, I have roots, background in the Nation of Islam, but racism, darkism is so powerful, and like I told you, we're spoiled goods. When I was in the Nation of Islam, I was just minding my business, but the brother was just talking and joking around. And like I said, the Nation of Islam, their emphasis is on the love of dark skin. However, if
most of them don't have dark skinned women.
Well, that's true.
Exactly. Therein lies the problem. But
you don't have dark-skinned leadership in the Nation of Islam either.
Right.
I was just getting ready to say that. I was just minding my own business, doing my thing, and the brothers was just joking around. And one brother told another brother, at least I ain't black as you. And he wasn't saying it like he was proud to be black. It was derogatory. It was like, you black is ugly. I mean, this is the Nation of Islam. Right. I heard the brother say, I'm like, what?
Right. And so that just goes to show you the effects of how white supremacy affects even people that are so-called conscious. You really got to love yourself. Like, you really got to love who you are. And that's why I say, as a black woman in particular, as a dark-skinned black woman, you have to, when you're talking about dating a black man, you got to really know where this man is coming from. Or even a black man, period, but in particular, a dark-skinned black male, because again, black women are taught to hate themselves, so they use the makeup, they use the weaves, they use other things to try to conceal or change themselves, whereas a black man might not be able to do that. So what he does is he reflects his self-hate in the women that he deals with. So as a dark-skinned black woman, and I'm in my 20s, as a dark-skinned black woman in my 20s, I have to really be on guard about the men that I deal with, because now keep in mind, like I said, my situation was very dubious because I had issues where my parents, my family had issues with dark skin. In particular, my mom spoke about it, so that had to come from her mama. So even if my grandmother didn't say nothing about it, it's somewhere in the family besides her. But then on the outside world, I'm getting called pretty, and these dudes want to holler at me, but my mama telling me that, you know, don't no dude want you unless you a light skin or you got long hair. So now I'm sitting like, okay, well, if these dudes coming at me, what are they coming at me for?
Right.
So now it causes that type of self-conflicting, doubting, you know, insecurity within me. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to really do some research on these men. What type of women do you deal with? How do you feel about yourself? Do you really want to work in corporate America? Because if he wants to work in corporate America and he's okay with calling a white man boss, he's not comfortable with himself as a black man, a king. He doesn't even see himself as a man. He sees himself as a boy. So how can he love me if he don't even love himself as a black man? Corporate America is not built for white men. It's built, a black man is built for white men. That's one. But most black men have to work under a white person or a white boss. Even if their boss is black, their boss's boss is not black. So if a black man is comfortable with calling another person, and you might say, how does this tie into colorism? Because it does. If he's not comfortable with owning his own business as a black man, if he's not comfortable with his just having that, just being a black man in America without worrying about any type of backlash that he may face, then he ain't gonna be comfortable walking around with no black woman that's strong, and especially no dark-skinned black woman, period.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sister Brittany, it sounds like you run away a lot of men in your life. You speak a little on the strong side, because I know, you know, the average guy here, you talk the way you do, they be like, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, you're right.
Because, you know, brothers, you know, it's sad. Brothers is just so weak nowadays. They you know that you hear them complain all the time about the independent, strong black woman. I love the independent, strong black woman. You're supposed to be strong and independent, because who knows how long your Negro ass gonna be hanging around.
Right.
So you better learn how to do your own thing and do for yourself.
There you go.
I know I wouldn't be waiting on the Negro.
And see, but I don't mind being submissive, Angel. I don't mind being submissive, but to the right type of man. It's just that when we're talking about black men, they don't have the power that black men don't even control. And this is no offense to you, but tell me, Angel, if I'm telling the truth. Most black men don't even control their bodies, because if a white man wants to shoot you dead, then he can.
Wow.
So you gotta watch how you walk around this so-called cracker, so that you don't offend him, so that you keep your life.
Right.
Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I could talk aggressive because I'm a female, so they might not find me as much of a threat. And then on top of that, they might be attracted to me, so they might not find me as much of a threat. But a black man talking like me, he gonna have a problem.
Right.
Well, Brittany, you was cute, but you know, after I don't know. I mean, now that's what they're doing. You know, brothers is not strong. And just like you said, they cannot handle. I mean, let's be real. Rashida is real. That's why we like each other, because we keep it real.
Right.
I have to keep it real. Me and my 10 subscribers, we have to keep it real. And keeping it real, a lot of folks don't want to be around that, because in their mind, they are something that they are not. Brothers, you are not strong. Right. Not. If you don't want this sister to talk this way, then prove her different by your actions. We have been here going on 500 years. You claim to be a man, and even out of their mouth, they said, well, you know, the man's supposed to provide and protect. Well, you ain't providing nothing, because the same place you get your substance, she can get hers. She can go to the cracker, and just like you can, because all of us, we get our, whatever we get directly or indirectly comes from the Caucasian pink people.
Right.
So she can go get her part, just like you got yours. What are you going to do different? You have to stand up and take yours.
Right.
You have to control your destiny. You have to be the man that you talk a good game. I hear brothers talk a real good game. Oh, they talk real big shot stuff. I love to hear them talk. You know, but when it's all said and done, they're not. You're not being the man that she really wants.
I'm loving it.
You're not being the man that you want. That's why they don't like me. They don't like being around me. Because I'm like you, Brittany. I have to bring it straight to you. A man cannot talk about women till you straighten yourself out. It's the old saying that you cannot tell somebody else to clean their house until your own house is clean.
That's right.
Now, when the brothers get their house clean, and then let me tell the brothers something. When you get your house clean, you don't have to even worry about her no more. She happy she can come home now. Woo! House is finally clean. I can come home now. Come on, little Muhammad. Come on, little Julie. Come on, we go. Time to go home. Father finally got his act together.
There you go.
You don't have to worry about her no more. When we straighten ourselves up, she be straightened up. That's the way y'all said. That's how it's supposed to go. Man's supposed to lead, woman follow. But she ain't gonna follow no fool.
Exactly.
She ain't gonna follow no idiot. I'm a leader simply because I got a penis. Hell, the little boy just born got a penis. That don't make him a man, so what?
There you go.
We gotta straighten ourselves up. And this issue here is one of the things, if the man is the leader, you have to take the lead and straighten the mess out. Have to straighten it out. We cannot go into a new reality with this on our backs. We cannot do it. Not gonna make it. The only thing you're doing is bringing mud into a new house. We don't want to do that.
That's why my belief that it's the black man that can solve darkism in regards to black female beauty. It's really on y'all.
Right.
A lot of black women have gotten so upset with me, light skin, mixed race, dark skin, when I have never been talking to them. To be honest with you, I have always been talking directly to the black man. Mm-hmm. And until we understand that the black man, for example, let me get on Kanye. I done talked about Kanye so much that I'm just like literally, I'm drained talking about Kanye. I gotta get on Kanye West. Kanye West is an example of a black man that has a lot of power. Whether people they can call him crazy, they can say whatever they want to say about him. The fact of the matter is he has the ear of millions of people. Right. Okay. So Kanye West, you're not married to a black woman. You're married to a non-white woman. I watched his interview with Charlemagne, where he spoke on, it was so many elements of it, but what really touched me as a dark-skinned black woman is to sit here and watch this man speak about how he has to provide for his family, how he is building wealth. He, at the end of the interview, him and Charlemagne walked around this land that he bought, I believe it was in Wyoming, and he talked about all this wealth building. And I thought to myself, damn, all this is for naught. Like, you are black. His mother, I got a great amount of respect for the late Donda West. Mm-hmm. And I actually got into it with his cousin, with Kanye West's cousin. The other day I was on a show, got into it with his cousin, didn't know he was going to call in. But his cousin was defending Kanye's comments on slavery. And I'm just thinking, I made the comment to him that I believe that Dr. Donda West is turning over in her grave, because look at what this man has become. Kanye West is, to me, he's brilliant as a rapper, as an artist. But the thing is, you taking all of that wealth that you bragged about building, and in that interview, he bragged about all these wealthy white men that he knows in the fashion industry. And you taking it's for naught. You giving it to Kim K. Well, it's horrendous. So that's another point. When I say the black man, y'all could change this. That's why
But he has to be independent from white men. He has to be independent from getting his money from white men. Kanye West get his money from billionaire white men that make him millionaires. And those thousandaire black men get their money from those millionaire white men. And then those hundredaire black men get their money from those thousandaire black white males. So it's a chain of command, so to speak. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a pyramid. Right. You still got a white man over you. So Kanye West wants to be like the men who's providing him his living, his lifestyle. So that's why I say black men have to own businesses. You gotta own your business. One of the things that Jay-Z did, regardless of whether or not Beyonce is light-skinned or not, she's still a black woman. But he understood the power of, for one, having a black woman and building black wealth. Kanye West, for whatever reason or another, does not know that. Because
because Jay-Z was like literally his mentor, you would have think that some of that would have rubbed off on him. And Kanye's cousin spoke about his family, his parents being Black activists. So
his parents are dead.
Yeah, you got this contradiction of his parents being former Black activists, but then their child turns out to just turn the other cheek. You go like in the opposite direction. Like Kanye West is just, to me, watching that interview was very painful. Like and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I would not have, and I done talked about Kanye a lot in other situations, but I would not have watched that interview had I was not asked for my commentary on it, because it took a lot of maturity, emotional maturity, to watch that interview with this man when all I could think, and people criticize me because they say, all you talking about is dark skin. Well, guess what? All the attention that he's getting, all the wealth that he's building, it's not going into the hands of the Black community. It's going back into the hands of the Kardashians. And I don't understand how Black women, oh my God, they co-signing it. It's a segment of Black women that worship Kim Kardashian. And what's the other chick that he dated before Kim Kardashian? What's
Amber Rose?
Hey, like what the y'all are contributors to your own genocide. This is insane. Oh my God. Real quick, y'all. I have to, y'all know I gotta promote my GoFundMe. I gotta promote the PayPal real quick. Y'all know I'm on the Dark Skin Activist Tour. I'm gonna share the screen right quick, featuring my one-woman show, A Dark Skin Woman's Revenge, that I am currently working on producing. So what I'm asking everybody, if y'all care about dark skin activism, I've been the dark skin activist since 1998, bringing it to you in the community, now online and all over the world. I'm asking y'all to support. Go to my GoFundMe. It's right here. Click that donate button and donate. Anyone that donates $25 or more, you're going to get a copy, an autographed copy of my book, Darkism, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against, which everybody should have. Where do the funds go? This is very important. I've written more books on dark skin than anyone in the world. I'm coming out with my next dark skin book. It's almost done. I am currently in the editing stages. It's called Token Dark Girl. Token Dark Girl. So the money is going to go toward producing copies of the book, distributing the book, and of course, marketing the book. So please make a donation if you believe in the stellar track record, because track record is very important. You got to do what the hell you say you're going to do. I have a proven track record of that. Also, the funding is going to go towards producing A Dark Skinned Woman's Revenge, which is the one-woman play that I have been performing since 2006. Also, the money is going to go towards legal issues that I have to take care of to protect dark skin activism. So I'm asking everybody that's in the sound of my voice, please make sure you go to my GoFundMe and make a donation. Now, if you do not want to go to the GoFundMe to make the donation, you can go to PayPal. Some people say they want to cut the middleman out. That's fine with me. You can go to PayPal. My PayPal email address is icecreamladydream@yahoo.com. All of this information is in the chat box. It's also in the description box. After this video goes up, everything is going to be there. So I'm going to drop that information in there right now. Please do not sit here and just listen to me talk. Listen to the content. I need funding, people. And for the haters out there that's mad, I got haters that be angry that I come and ask for money. I don't care about you. Continue to hate, because I'm gonna keep asking for money, because I'm gonna get to the $1 million+ goal that I need to get to. I'm gonna get there, and you're gonna be real mad. So make sure you go and make your donation to the Dark Skin Activist campaign. Make that donation. Very, very important. All right, I'm stop screen sharing. I just had to throw that in there. Go ahead, y'all. Somebody asked me as a moderator, y'all. We having a discussion here, so I'm not really worried about moderation. But go ahead.
Speaking of Kanye, I really don't follow Kanye a lot. I'm familiar with him, probably due to 2 songs I remember listening to. I like the Gold Digger song he did with Jamie Foxx.
You like Gold Digger, and when he get on, he leave a poor white girl. You like go? Oh my God!
I mean, I just like that. I like the song. I mean, it ain't. I didn't trip off the lyrics. I still don't even know what the lyrics is. You know, he sampled Ray Charles in there.
Look though, in that song, he says specifically, and I quote, "And when he get on, he leave your ask for a white girl."
I remember hearing something like that, but you know, I'm just familiar with him. I don't even have a record. It's just I'm familiar with him because of that Gold Digger song and another one you probably wouldn't expect me to listen to, Jesus Walks. Remember his song Jesus Walks back in the day? That's one of his first records he put out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really know a whole lot, but this is what I've noticed about Kanye is that I think that he was a mama's boy. And I think that he was very, very close to his mother. And you notice that there's a change after the death of his mother.
Yep.
And his whole behavior start turning. And some of us are like that. You know, we get close to our parent, or we love our husband or wife. Some people, you know, there are instances where when some person passes, not too long, that person so close, they pass along with them a year later or a few months. They are that close to that person. And I think that he is in a state where he didn't go to the point where he would, matter of fact, his behavior is showing to the point where if within the next year or so, if they said that something happened to Kanye, I wouldn't be surprised because that he had this connection with his mother. And I think that's why he has a I don't give a damn attitude.
Yep.
His whole behavior has changed. This Kanye that we see now, you did not see prior to his mother's death.
Right.
Also, the problem we have with not only Kanye, but Jay-Z and Will Smith and a lot of brothers. I went to the Million Man March in 1995. Will Smith was there, MC Hammer, a lot of different celebrities that you probably wouldn't even expect. Michael Jackson was expected to be there, but for some reason he didn't show up. So we have a lot of our celebrities. They know the reality of racism and what we face in this country.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we as a people are so fickle and we so messed up. Kanye or Jay-Z or Will Smith, none of our celebrities gonna put their wealth on the line. They're not gonna put their position on the line for a group of people who just can't get it together.
Right.
If we show them that we can get it together, and let
me chime in here. I want you to hear this. Our network says making excuses for Kanye. No, he chose to go for the money, and so did Bill Cosby, and didn't realize that money comes at a price. So he's saying that you're essentially making excuses. What do you say to that?
What was that? Say that again.
There's a brother here. I'm looking at the chat box because a lot of people say I don't read the comments of the people enough, and I'm trying very hard to do that. RBR Network said, brother making excuses when you're talking about Kanye. He said, brother making excuses for Kanye. No, he chose to go for the money, and so did Bill Cosby, and didn't realize that money comes at a price.
Well, you got to look at it this way. I understand that. Yeah, they doing it for the money. You go to work every day. What you doing it for? It's all about the money and making choices. But at the same time, if Bill Cosby and Kanye and all our people, just like the sister was saying, they getting their money from a Caucasian source. What if they could be put in a position where they didn't have to depend on that no more?
Mm-hmm.
So you talk, see, a lot of these people, you talk big and bad, but when it comes to down to talking to the source where you get your money income, all of a sudden you start talking all low and the whole tone. Matter of fact, that's the reason why a lot of these people don't even want to come on Facebook or social media and show their face because they don't want their boss to see them.
They don't like the hits. See, that's the thing. Yeah. I can't see because let me tell y'all something. Everything I say up on social media, people already know in St. Petersburg. I'm a laid back person until you start that darkism, racism bullshit. You better move because I'm not gonna play with these people. I'm not gonna play because the thing is, like you saying, brother, this is what people got to understand. Being a dark-skinned female in the world, like Dr. Neely Fuller. I love Dr. Neely Fuller. Shout out to you. Blessings to you and the great Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Dr. Neely Fuller says we are born into a prison, the prison of racism and white supremacy. And he ain't never lied. And these kids, these little dark-skinned black children, they don't know. They innocent as hell. And then you grow up and you got to get out here, like you say, you got to feed yourself. You got to clothe yourself. You got to deal with housing yourself. And you run up into all this discrimination, darkism. Man, you better back up. You better back up. We should be worshiping the ground that the great Malcolm X walked on, as far as I'm concerned, that the great Dr. Martin Luther King. Because like you saying, a lot of people, they want to talk that talk. But let me tell you something. I don't talk that talk. I got a job. And I put my job on the line. I show my face and I'm ready to intellectually battle anybody. I'm ready for you. And people be watching me in St. Pete. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know Rashida Strober is never afraid of none of y'all, because y'all do not run me. And I will continue to speak out against any type of injustice that I see in the community, in the world. I don't care where it is. And I've done this. Let me tell you, this ain't just for a lot of people. They come up on here, they laugh, they make their little jokes, they talk about me, whatever. But this is the real deal. I'm the real deal. When it comes down to the activism, to fighting injustice, I've done it. Okay, so people got to understand, like you hit the nail on the head when you talk about, you know what I'm saying? People is not they'll talk that talk in the circles with black power, but then when they get around in that corporate world, no, I don't roll like that. When you see, that's a part of the problem. When you see injustice, if you speak up, if you attack it,
you get penalized.
You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, if you attack it head on, yeah, you might have to take some hits. You might lose a job. But so what? Malcolm X lost his life.
Right.
The slaves, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner. These people lost their lives.
Right.
I've been fired from plenty of jobs because I called out a lot of racist bullshit. One of the things I could never do is sit around and work for no racist white person that I see doing injustice and I don't say nothing. I couldn't even go to sleep at night if I was to allow that to happen, especially if it's happening to me, let alone if it's happening to somebody else that's black. So, I mean, at the end of the day, one of the things that I can say is that I'm kind of blessed to be able to have the opportunity to do that because I don't have no kids, so I don't have to worry about feeding nobody. I did come from a family that I would say, as far as being black in America, is pretty privileged as far as my mother and my father being able to have what they have and leave behind for me and my sister what they've left behind. So I don't necessarily have to go to no white folks for no money, just being honest. And also my own talents that I've had, that I do have, that can keep me away from having to depend on this white supremacist corporate American system. Now, when I'm talking about a black man apart, that scares me the most is because it ain't too many black men who got mamas and daddies is making $200,000 a year. That's just regular, just walking around. It's just not young black males in their 20s. Like, it's just not happening like that. So I understand that they might not be able to speak as boldly as me. And not just that, as far as the corporate aspect of it, but also, like I said earlier, just walking around being a black man, having to be scared of the police when you driving down the street. Like, as a black female, I have not had to endure that. But at the same time, when you start seeing certain things happen, you're like, damn, that could be me. So let me just kind of like slow up. And I'm in Georgia right now too. I'm from Miami, but I'm in Georgia. And I've seen a completely different attitude with blacks in the deep South. So it kind of make you like, damn, well, if they acting like this, what the hell would they know that I don't know? Like, I might need to start moving a little, slow too. So at the end of the day, it's hard because when you're talking about a younger generation, and I'm part of a younger generation, it's like you want to be able to deal with other black people on a certain level, but you can't. Like, there's no unity. We go outside and we look at each other. A motherfucker want to fight you. Like, there's no unity. We have no type of connection. The only thing that we say that we can connect to is rap music. but other than that, we have no connection. You see these, let me tell you something. It'll be a room full of black people, and then you have two white men or a white man that come in the room. All those black people, their whole energy will change to make that white man comfortable.
That's right.
or even a Hispanic, or even an Indian. So when we start talking about colorism, if we can't fix self-love, colorism is gonna always be there. That's just something that it is what it is. Because of where racism is, which is this entire system. I mean, look at the president. So you're gonna have black people that are going to have to try to find a way to make themselves feel better over another black person. And what is that? Classism, colorism.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the inevitable. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to surround yourself with people that are of like minds. And unfortunately, you're not going to find, you just ain't going to find too many black people that's comfortable speaking like this. You got black people that it could just be you and that person in the room, and they acting like it's a white person listening through the window somewhere. They so scared to talk about certain things. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You just have to have peace within yourself and knowing who you are and really loving who you are, and not seek validation from no man or for some self-hating coon ass woman. Like, you can't walk around mad at everybody. You just got to know these people are coons or Sambos or Uncle Toms or whatever you want to, Auntie Toms, and just know that they don't like themselves. That's just what it is. Because if you harbor that, you'll be walking around here angry at the world. And trust me, I'm at that point. Where it's like, I'm bitter. I ain't even gonna lie to you, because I can't remember what philosophical black man said this, but he said, when you start to realize the truth, once the black man or the black woman, the black person becomes aware, they become angry.
Right.
And I'm angry than a motherfucker. Like, I ain't gonna lie. And plus, I'm young, so I got that energy.
But to your credit, though, here's what I want to say real quick. To your credit, I love the fact, because I don't often run into a lot of young people in their 20s that are conscious as you are. You are completely conscious and completely aware. So that's a huge win right there. You understand what I'm saying? Because you just do not, I swear, you do not run into a socially and politically conscious young black woman that is really, they say that they use the term woke, but you're really woke.
But you want me to tell you how? Thank you, Rashida. You want me to tell you how I got to that point?
Please.
Because, okay, so like I said earlier, my parents had money. So I came from a situation where I didn't necessarily have to go to white people. I never saw my parents struggle. It wasn't until I left Howard, when I came to Georgia, and I started going for jobs, when I started to see racism and injustices. When I wrote my first book, that I have not put out yet, but when I wrote my first book when I was 21, it was about this dude that I was dealing with, and he, for whatever reason, just thought I had all this money for whatever reason, and I didn't understand why he was so bitter towards him, thinking that I had, because if he's with me or if we dealing with each other, I mean, wouldn't that mean he had too? But we just came from two different sides of the track. So it wasn't until I started going for jobs and realizing that it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, and sometimes it's about your race. You can have all the credentials in the world, but if you black, they'll say you either overqualified, you're underqualified, you know, they'll never call you back, or whatever the case may be, and you have exactly what is on that post, that job post, but you don't get the job. Yeah. I was working as a recruiter at some company in Atlanta, Georgia. I was making $25 an hour plus commission on whoever it is that I placed into whatever position I placed them in. It was a black woman. I hope y'all got time. It was a black woman.
We do.
She was the oldest person that I had brought in for an interview. It was a black lady, it was a Hispanic woman, and it was a young white girl who was doing her she just had got out of her internship, and she was working at Dairy Queen before then. So it was for an LPN position. So I had all of them go out for the job interview. The black lady called me. Now keep in mind, the black lady was the qualified one. They were looking for 5 years of experience. She had 6 years of experience. The Spanish lady had 2 years of experience, and the white lady had no years of experience, except for her doing her internship. So when I had the black lady and all of them go out for the job interview, the black lady contacted me that Friday and asked, well, you know, she hadn't heard anything back, and she was supposed to hear back that Friday. When I contacted the company, they had already hired the white girl who had no experience. They offered the Spanish lady $2 less than what they were offering the company in general. And the black lady just didn't get the position because they said that she was overqualified. So it wasn't until then when I started to see how this system of racism and white supremacy really works, because I personally had never saw any poverty or injustices in my personal life from the world up until I got into the world and had to fend for myself.
Right.
And so that's why I'm so woke, because I wasn't born into the poverty. I didn't accept that as a norm for me. Most black people are born into it, so they accept this shit as a norm. They accept the fact that they're black, so they gotta be second-class citizens.
Right.
I didn't, until I realized that, okay, shit, I can't depend on my mama money, so I gotta go out here and want my daddy money, so I gotta get it on my own. And now I see what they had to go through.
Right.
That they never told me or my sister about, though. So, and then also being a black woman who is in shape, who can attract white men, that comes another problem, because these white hoes don't want you in the biz. They don't want you there. They want the mammies. They want a black woman that makes them feel comfortable. So that comes a whole nother issue where you talk about attractiveness. So that's why when you asked me what type of privilege I have, I asked you, were you talking about with men, or were you talking about in the colleague world? Because being an attractive black woman, it comes a good, but it also comes a bad. When you're talking about working in corporate America, don't nobody want no attractive black woman. They want somebody who makes them feel comfortable with being white supremacist.
Right.
Straight up.
I'm just listening to you dropping this knowledge, because again, and I want everybody that's listening to clearly understand, because I know that we got people just tuning in, just not tuning in. We're talking to Brittany. I know y'all can't see her face. I personally wish that we could, but I respect you to the utmost with what you want to do. But Brittany is not, she does not look like me in terms of being the typical.
Honestly, Rashida, I don't even have no camera on my computer, so I do apologize. I don't even have no camera.
Oh, you don't have to apologize to me. I'm very happy to have you on here and sharing with us, so that black people can understand the other side of the coin of being a dark-skinned black woman, but not looking like the typical dark skin. Because what you're doing is you graciously sharing with us your experience, and it's very educational. Because again, if people would really sit and take a moment to listen and understand, they can say, as black people, I'm not going to continue to be a part of perpetuating darkism within my black community. I'm not going to be a part of that. And that's the whole goal. You talked about being a recruiter. That's something that we have in common. When I lived in Los Angeles, I was also a recruiter for a nonprofit organization. And I do believe you spoke to a lot of things. You talked about corporate America wanting to feel comfortable with a certain type of black person. I was promoted several times in that company. And I do believe that I was promoted because I was the type of black woman that they look-wise, phenotypically, they felt, comfortable with, because they view me as being as beautiful. I wasn't a threat. I wasn't a threat to, the good-looking men in the office and all. But I mean, I got a lot to say about that, but I'm not going to go into detail on that. Mm-hmm. But when I went up into the higher level, I saw I don't know if she was a mixed race black woman or if she was just a light-skinned black woman, but to me, she appeared to be mixed race at the highest corporate level. I saw a lot of darkism at this particular job. You know what I'm saying? Where darker skinned black women were mistreated. They had a certain hiring policy or rehire policy where if the person's paperwork said rehire, they would rehire them. But then I would see dark skinned black women come back after taking off for whatever reason. The paperwork said rehire, they would not rehire them. I would sit there in meetings and hear them say, oh, she has an attitude. And believe me, again, it goes back to being a real dark skinned activist for real. I literally lost that job because I said I can't sit back and watch y'all discriminate against dark-skinned people. And that dark skin, and in Los Angeles, black people in Los Angeles, if you're not a movie star, or if you're not making a certain income, a lot of black people in Los Angeles are dirt poor. They live in a downtown. I forgot the name that they call it, but I do know that Los Angeles has one of the highest populations in the United States. A lot of those people are black, and these were black people that were coming from poverty, and they needed these jobs. And for them to do that, it just enraged me, and I wound up losing my job. So I understand all these different dynamics. So the thing is, what we got to do, what I feel we have to do as Black people, is we have to look at the truth from all angles, and then look within ourselves and say, what can we do to solve this problem? What can we do not to inflict? Going back to Dr. Neely Fuller, because he's one of the scholars that I highly respect, talking about replacing a system of injustice with justice. That's my contribution.
Right. The only way that you would be able to do that is to create your own system.
Right.
And you can't create your own system within a system. So you would pretty much have to move out of America. You would have to leave America. This system is already rooted. Everything from your housing to the money to the way it's distributed and it's received, it's already distributed. These white people got this shit cornered. You know what I'm saying? So individually, you might have a Black mentality, and like yourself, you might have this mentality to where, oh, we got to really change this. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. But at the end of the day, the reality is that the only way that you can really start is within your particular domain. So for instance, with your child, or whenever I have a child one day, because I will have a child one day, I would prefer to homeschool my child. Yes, I would like for my child to have the understandings of this American system, because in order to understand your enemy, you got to learn your enemy's language. Malcolm X said that. But at the same time, you got to know who you are. And the only way that you can know who you are and not succumb to this white supremacist system is if you are homeschooled by somebody who you know, is aware and is awakened. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Corinne Gaines was a light-skinned chick. I'm gonna tell you this, and I don't know if y'all ever saw this in this kind of light. Corinne Gaines was killed in DC or Baltimore because she was outspoken against the police. One of the reasons why they did not kill Corinne Gaines as quick as they could have if she were a Black male, one was because she's light-skinned, two, because she had light eyes. And in their minds, they felt like, well, damn, we're not going to give you the whole cake, but girl, we're going to give you some crumbs. I mean, you're light skinned, you have a certain privilege, and you're female, and you got kids. Like, what is your problem? Corinne Gaines ain't want the crumbs. She wanted the whole motherfucking cake. She wasn't going to settle for their just giving her passively just something and to pacify her. But she saw that it was injustice, so she spoke up, and they kept warning her and giving her little warnings and hoping that she would calm down and just take whatever it was that they gave her, the little crumbs, and she wasn't going for it. So they killed her. So what they ended up doing was they paid her family off. Now, keep in mind, they gave her kids money. Now, what they don't understand, or what they did understand, and this is the reason why they tried to retract the money, Corinne, her kids come from a family, or her mother at least, did not like white people, right? Most Black people go to school and try to get a job so that they can get millions of dollars, so that they no longer have to work, or get enough money so that they hopefully one day never have to work. They were going to give a so-called Black supremacist kids money so that they never had to work for no white person ever. Which means all they had to do, they never had to go to school. All they had to do was just sit home and learn about how these crackers ain't shit, and learn about their Blackness, and sit on that wealth that Black people are trying to work there every day. They dying to get this money. They were going to give this to her kids, and they thought, well, goddamn, if her kids are anything like her and we get them all this money, we done created a motherfucking monster. So they tried to retract that money back from her children, because that would have given them an escape from this motherfucking maze that Black people are in, which is working a job. They would not have had to do that. And on top of that, they would have been up on some Black power shit, and they was not going to give her kids that privilege. So her death helped her children. But they tried to go ahead and retract that money from her kids, because it's about not depending on white people for your money, for your life, period. And it is what it is. And when you're talking about black men get it the hardest when you're talking about having to survive, period. You can make all the money in the world, but again, when you're dealing with these white supremacist race soldier ass police officers, whether they're black or white, you have to be careful as a black male. There's only so much you could do. You got to walk on damn near eggshells out here in this world, for real.
I know I do.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when we're talking about colorism is only a fraction of what the real problem is. I mean, you can't fix colorism if you can't fix racism. You know what I'm saying? And how do you fix racism? You learn to love your race. You don't learn to love you who you are. One thing that I've learned, and I never speak up. I mean, I won't say never, but my goal isn't to necessarily just speak up for this particular black person or these particular group of black people, because black people will turn on you quick as hell and have you out there like, you know what I'm saying, fucked up. But at the end of the day, I speak on black issues because I'm a black person, and I understand what affects that black person affects me. What affects Rashida as a dark-skinned black female, I can relate to because it affects me. Although, yes, phenotypically, we may be different. We're still dark-skinned, we're still black, and we're still viewed as black. Period. So the only issue that may be different, Rashida, between me and you, is when it comes to men and who gets their dick harder faster. That's it. But what does that do? That doesn't benefit either of us. Who gets who's dick? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's about a system. It ain't got shit to do with the, because that man doesn't have, and we can't ask somebody who doesn't have the power to do something to change something. You know what I'm saying? So not no complete whole, like as a whole. So unfortunately, it's not just going to happen that way. It takes that black man to really have some power and to really break away from that system. As a black female, I can speak on it, even if I work in this white system, because again, I'm not seen as a threat. They don't see me as a threat in the same way. So I'm kind of like the spook that's set next to the door.
Right. Let me just read y'all some of these comments here on this great conversation that we having. Miss Archduchess says dark-skinned women need to be promoted. I've heard a lot of slights. Let's see. Let me go up. Oh my God. This Scotty Lee, you want so much attention. I'm gonna give you your attention. He says Amara La Negra, the most beautiful women I have ever seen. I think you meant woman I have ever seen. Who would have ever thought a cute dark-skinned person? You learn something new every day. Okay, you taking shots.
Okay, I have a question. What is Miss Archduchess? What does she mean by stop deflecting?
Hopefully she will answer that in the chat box. I'm monitoring the chat box. I'm trying. Again, y'all, I want to make this very clear that to my loyal fans that I love y'all so much. Y'all say I don't respond to y'all messaging in the chat box. I'm looking at the chat box right now, reading your comments here. So Miss Archduchess, if you could expound on what you mean. I'm reading, I'm waiting. True Female, you said my father was light-skinned, but I still love being dark. My Tribe TV, All Out Attack, you said lighter-skinned people these days seem to have more of a panther mind. What do you mean by that? 12 Dreams Full. Miss Arches was speaking to Brittany. Okay, so hopefully Miss Arches will answer your question. I'm gonna be monitoring the chat to see. Let's see who else have something to say. Shout out to everybody that's listening. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Let's see. Miss Archduchess. So maybe this might give you some insight into what she's thinking. Brittany, she says, Brittany, I don't agree totally.
No, I said Corinne Gaines. I had cleared that up, DJ Batman.
Okay, I'm just reading you one of her comments here. She said, Brittany, I don't agree totally. The emphasis is on darkism. I feel like she's shifting the topic too much. Okay.
Well, let me explain. So I'm not shifting the topic on darkism, but it depends on in what context you're speaking of, because darkism could take place in intimate relationships between a man and a woman, or whatever your sexual preference is. Darkism could take form in your corporate setting. It could take form in you just going to the grocery store. It could take form in you going to get your car fixed. First and foremost, you have to be able to acknowledge whether or not you're being discriminated based on your race or you're being discriminated based on your skin tone. That's the first thing. So you have to ask, in what particular environment are you talking about darkism? Because if you're talking about darkism in your workplace, darkism and racism in that particular instance goes almost hand in hand, unless you specifically have a light-skinned boss. And even in that case, that light-skinned black boss is promoting racism and darkism because her boss is more than likely white. You may have a dark-skinned boss who treats you bad and you're a dark-skinned person, and you may feel like it has something to do with your dark skin, but that person's boss may be white. That person may be doing what they know their white boss wants to see. So when I said earlier, darkism is a fraction of racism, and racism has to be addressed first. So that's the reason why I speak on racism. If you're talking about in a relationship between a man and a woman, then you can speak to darkism or colorism, however it is that you choose to call it. You can speak on that freely because of the fact that you know that this man may prefer light-skinned women, or this woman may prefer a light-skinned man. That's when colorism can be pinpointed exactly for the most part. Or in Rashida's case, like she said, she was being discriminated against when she went to an Indian store between a dark skin. It was a dark skin, her being a dark skinned person, and the other person being a light skinned person. At that point, you know that it is colorism. So I wasn't deflecting, but in certain instances, such as your job, racism is the bigger picture than colorism. And when you're talking about intimate relationships or certain settings and certain environments, then the color of your skin as opposed to your race may be the issue. So that's why I brought up racism, because you have to speak on the context and the environment in which this discrimination is happening in order to know whether it's colorism or it's racism, or it could be a mixture of both.
Okay, so Miss Archduchess, I'm reading your response. Looks like you kind of responding as she's talking. You said you don't think, and I'm assuming that you're asking this question to Brittany, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm looking directly at the chat box. You said you don't think that darkism can be resolved unless whites stop hating us, i.e. white supremacy. I say no to that. Blacks need to fix colorist views, no matter if whites change or not. And I would have to admit that, Miss Archduchess, I agree with that. I respect everybody's point of view. I'm stuck on darkism. While I do recognize that, and I'm a allow Brittany to go ahead and respond to this, but I just want to quickly chime in on that and say, while I do recognize that darkism comes from racism, for me, the racism is no longer the issue. For me, it's global darkism. And for me, it's Black people that have to solve the problem of darkism. Because
Right.
it's already here and it's entrenched. And so now it's like, okay, what are we going to do to solve this as Black people? That's the you know, the lens that I'm looking at it through. But of course, I respect everybody's point of view. I understand what you're saying, Brittany. Absolutely. And respect.
So to respond to Miss Archduchess, I never said anything about white people and white people accepting us. That never came. I said Black people need to remove themselves from white supremacist environments in order to learn to love themselves properly, in order to control. When you control your finances, when you control your environment, you can control your mindset. So I never said at any point expecting white people to accept us. I could give a fuck if a white person accepts me or not, because again, I know who I am. That's why I said you have to be able to teach yourselves and to teach your offsprings to love themselves and to teach them, of course, about this American system, but you also have to teach them about their Blackness and not have them being taught by white people or people who are lying to them. So I never said that, Miss Archduchess. That's first. But second of all, when it comes to colorism, if we're talking about between Black men and Black women, then we also have to understand racism. Black men, where do colorism come from? Colorism comes from Black men and Black women who have experienced racism, and that racism has taught them that anything that looks Black or is Black is bad. So it is a fraction. Darkism, colorism, however you want to phrase it, it is a fraction of racism. But it's Black people who commit it amongst each other, and that's the reason why it's called darkism or colorism, right? So it's not called darkism or colorism when it's coming from a white person. It's called racism. When it's coming from within the same community, it's called colorism or darkism. Where does that colorism or darkism come from? It comes from racism. It comes from a Black person thinking that Blackness is bad and anything that looks close to Black is bad. Where does that come from? It comes from, as Angel said earlier, it comes from those cartoons where Black people's faces and features were over exaggerated to make them look horrible. And so Rashida oftentimes talks about darkism amongst Black men and Black women. Usually that whole scope means or pertains to an intimate setting between a Black man finding a Black woman attractive, right? So in this case, we're not talking about corporate. We're talking about an intimate relationship. Black men can't find, they can, but in the instance where we're talking about a system that has created, and even Angel said his mother was always talking about how dark or black was bad, and in particular anything that was super dark. And most black men go through that, and so they want something opposite of what they look like because of that trauma. And so you can't ask a group of men just like straight out to accept you if they don't accept themselves.
Right.
Yes. What are you girls doing? Get down.
Okay. I'm looking at the chat box here, and if there's a whole bunch of y'all comments is coming in like back to back to back to back, and I'm loving this discussion. Once again, I want to say thank you very much to Brittany for coming on here. Y'all gotta respect it and sharing this wonderful point of view. One thing that you guys must understand about me, this is very important. This is why I've always been open to anyone that wants to speak to me, discuss with me, debate with me about darkism, and I consider this to be more of a discussion than a debate. I don't mind people having a divergence of opinion. I actually like it because what that does, conflict creates solutions. So I love it. I absolutely love it.
But Rashida, I have a question. Where do you feel like me and you differ? Because I mean, I hear the comments. Like, I don't think they understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that black men shouldn't cover, or black women should not covet white men, and that or black men, and that they're diverting from. Because I see one of your subscribers are saying that Kanye West. What I'm saying is that if he don't want your ass, then keep it moving and find somebody that do. Because every black man ain't gonna find you attractive. That's their problem, and keep it moving. Find somebody who like you. But what I'm saying is, Rashida, where do me and you differ from what you from?
This is the thing you gotta understand. I don't think it's about me and you having a difference. I think it's about what people in the chat box, the people that are watching, they're gonna form their own opinions of what we're saying. I personally don't think that we are disagreeing. That to me, that's not even the point to me, because what you say and what I say, I have no issue with people looking at it and critiquing it and coming up with their own conclusions. So that to me, I'm unbothered by it. I personally don't. I think that we're on the same page, because what I do hear from you and what I do appreciate is the fact that you love black men. That's obvious. And you are trying to do your part to bring black men and black women together, or keep us together. So I don't see it as me and you disagreeing. Even if we were, that's not a problem to me. What I think is happening in the chat box is people are hearing what they're hearing and they're making their interpretations, which I love. I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually love it.
You know what I like from people in the chat room? I would like for some of these people in the chat room, since you have so much to say, why don't you come sometimes and get in the box?
I would love it.
See, writing
come on.
in the chat room is not the same. You know, get in the box, bring your voice. You don't have to show your face. Come get in the box and talk. You know, writing the stuff, that little stuff in the chat room. You know, that's you know, come on, get in with the conversation. You know, if you want something special, Rashida says she debate anybody. Get your ass in the ring, bring it.
And you know what? Sometimes, here's the thing. Sometimes what ends up happening is it's a debate, and then sometimes it's a discussion, and it could just go. You know, Sister Rashida, you know what I'm saying? I'm open to it all, because I see what I see here. And I'm just giving y'all my interpretation of this discussion tonight. And I didn't know where it was going to go. I just know I talked to Brittany earlier, and we started talking, and I said, hey, why don't you come on? And she agreed. And I'm very happy and honored that you finally did, because I think your viewpoint is super duper important. I think it's relevant, and I'm glad that people are hearing it. So it's, for me, that's the main thing of it. And the people, and I guess this is the artist side of me. The artist side of me says, put the work out there and let the people interpret. It's not my job to tell the people how to think. That's never, contrary to what y'all might believe. I know I might yell, I might scream, I might do it in different. It ain't my job to tell y'all how to think. And my job is simply to say what the hell I gotta say. And hey, y'all are free thinking human beings. That's my job. Not to tell y'all what to think or how to think. Rashida don't do that.
But you know, Sister Rashida, are they thinking? You know, there's a difference between hearing and listening.
Right.
I'm listening to what this sister is saying, and I don't see what they're talking about in the chat room. I don't see it because I'm listening to her word. A lot of people already have their minds made up, and they focus on a certain point that they believe in.
Right.
So
it's about understanding. That's my point. It's about putting the information out there. And then the people, it is going to be subject. I will say this. It is subject to a person's interpretation. But what I will ask people to do, because people have not done this with me, and I don't think it's fair to do this to another person. Even if you don't agree with a person, or you think you might, because you might come around to agree, all I would ask is to listen to the person fully and consider what they're saying. And everybody know, I'm gonna use Tommy Sotomayor as an example. People get mad at for saying stuff like, I don't think Tommy Sotomayor, when the whole campaign was, get Tommy Sotomayor off of YouTube. Rashida was one of those people that said, I'm not gonna do that. Because even if I don't agree with Tommy Sotomayor's views, guess what? Who am I to tell him what he cannot say? That's not my job. I mean, I could sit there again. Somebody said, yeah, this is the scholar in me. I mean, it is, because I believe in looking at diverging viewpoints and assessing those viewpoints, and I can come to my own conclusion. That doesn't mean I don't like you any less. That's not it. Actually, I respect. Let me tell you something. I have an immense amount of respect. Shout out to Sister Sunny Day, who me and her got into it, but we debated, and she's one of the people. Mixed race young lady, I respect you to the fullest, even though we didn't agree, even though we clashed. This is because I feel like conflict is what leads us to solutions. Conflict and having a different opinion is not a bad thing. It actually leads to solutions.
Right. I want to say one thing though. I think that when we talk about this darkism or colorism, I think that the subscribers, they have their mindset on colorism in a certain format, and that's usually between black men and women, which is an intimate format. I don't think they're thinking of it like how so there was never a set structure in how this conversation was supposed to go. So again, because of that, colorism can lead to racism. It can lead to that whole different topic, because there's so many different forms in life in which you can experience these things. So again, if we're talking about between black men and black women and colorism, then we're gonna stick to that. Now, do I believe that black men disrespect black women, and in particular dark-skinned women? Hell yeah. I mean, we've seen it. And part of the reason why, again, is because they have been brainwashed to believing that anything that is Eurocentric in its phenotype is better. Now, when we're talking about the exceptional dark-skinned girl, as far as with the curlier hair or the straighter, keener features, does that mean that she's going to get treated better than that red bone? Not necessarily. Let's just be very clear. Not necessarily. Now, she may be treated a little bit more exotic to a certain extent from other black women, or she may be treated more exotic than that red bone who might have Western features. But again, Rashida, I can understand your point, because you're speaking from a dark-skinned woman who, even and I won't say this person's name, but again, when we're talking about colorism and black men finding a certain type of woman attractive, Cardi B versus Rashida Strober, if we're talking about that, colorism, we got to talk about other isms, because again, I'm a dark-skinned black woman, or some people might consider me dark skinned. Some people might consider me a brown skin, whatever. But I'm a dark skinned black woman who has certain features and phenotypes that can speak on this darkism thing from a whole different perspective. And so again, would I be treated better than a light skinned female? It depends on that light skinned female's features. That's just a fact.
Right.
Is it right? No. because obviously it goes back to a form of self-hate and black men finding Eurocentric features better. Now, can you find a black man that love black women? Yes. Are you gonna? No, but all black men ain't gonna find black women attractive. That's just the fact of. You keep it moving on them, and be thankful that you ain't get caught up with their ass and they told you some lies and said, girl, you the finest black chick that I got with. Get in your drawers, and then they keep it moving on your ass, and then they go date a Becky, or they date somebody that looks completely opposite from you, and now you sitting looking stupid in the face. At least these dudes are telling you straight up what they like, what they don't like, so that you can keep it moving. Now, your feelings might be hurt for that moment, but at least you don't have to deal with that pain for the long run and getting involved with this man who don't find you attractive, but just was feeding you some dreams and telling you what you wanted to hear.
Okay, let me go to the comments here real quick. Swirl Princess, you said, and I'm reading this comment to get your opinion on this, Brittany, because her child probably has some features similar to yours. She says, Rashida, I have a biracial daughter. Her father is Southeast Asian. She is darker than most biracials. Colorism and darkism exist worldwide. On my side, she is light. On her father's side, she is dark. And she said it's hard to teach her about darkism.
Okay, so what can I say? What was the question?
So I'm just pretty much what I'm trying to do is incorporate some of the comments here. The reason I read that particular comment is because this particular child, biracial child, appears to be, because she's of South Asian, and her mom is apparently black. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Swirl Princess, but she said that she's darker than most biracial people. So that leads me to believe that she probably has an appearance similar to yours.
But Rashida, do I look biracial to you?
No, well, no. What I'm saying is this: she probably has she's saying that she's darker. She's dark. So and Swirl Princess, you could correct me if I'm wrong. Let me just ask you like this: does she look similar to, let's say, Maya Campbell, or the young lady off the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or Chili from the group TLC? Does she have that look? Because I think what she's trying to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Swirl Princess, is that your daughter doesn't really understand what's going on with darkism. And it sounds like she's kind of getting it from both sides, because she said on her side she's light, but on her dad's side she's dark. So it's like this tug of war going on here. Let me scroll down in the comments. I just kind of wanted your commentary on that, just because of what she's saying about how her daughter looks phenotypically. And I'm just guessing that she sort of kind of looks similar to you, and I could be wrong, but I'm just guessing. Swirl Princess says, she just answered, she said she's considered light on my side, but considered dark on her father's side. She looks more like Chili, which was my guess. So
well, I can't speak to that because I'm not biracial.
Okay.
So her child is going to naturally have a completely different experience than a full black woman or black person, because she's dealing with two different cultures. She's literally different. I may look, you can see I'm black, but I may have some phenotypes of whatever, but I'm still a black woman. So my experiences and my thought patterns are going to be of a full black woman. It's not going to be of a biracial person. So I won't have that. But I will say again, a person who does not know me may see me as something other than just a full-blooded black woman to a certain degree, or they may see me as a black woman that may be an island black woman, or whatever the case may be. But again, this goes back to black women being able to connect. Most black women connect through struggle. And that struggle they might not see in me.
Right. Due to how they phenotypically perceive you to be something that might be ambiguous.
Well, no, they might not perceive me to be ambiguous, but they might not perceive me to have the same struggles in life as them. Just like, for instance, you might have big women who might see a skinny woman and might not think that skinny woman has the same struggles that she has.
But this would be based upon the way that you look phenotypically. That would not look like a typical or regular dark-skinned black woman, is what I'm saying.
Right, but at the end of the day, like I was saying, black women connect through struggle. And so in the case of black women being able to identify with each other, most black women identify, and even you were saying with your commentary, you specifically reaching out to dark-skinned Black women, but you also did say that you're reaching out to dark-skinned Black women who have your similar phenotype. And you did say that, I think you did say that in one of your commentary. So I mean, I get it, you know what I'm saying, to a certain degree, but I think as dark-skinned women, regardless of what your phenotype is, we gonna all, but that goes to a race. So again, I'm not sure if we're speaking on in regards to how men view us or how the world view us.
Well, okay, let me you know what, that's actually a good topic for a discussion, to talk about what is the scope of darkism. And this is something that people have not, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying people in general have not really paid attention to, because I think that people like, okay, let me just preface this with saying people came to know Rashida Strober, the dark-skinned activist, in terms of the scope that it's reached to now due to entertainment, due to me talking about Kendrick Lamar. That person is an entertainer. So when I talked about Kendrick Lamar and what I perceived as darkism / colorism in his mate selection, you know, that was sort of entertaining to people because he's a rapper. Oh, she coming for an entertainer. But what I've always said from day one in my lectures and even in my books, if people would read it, that's why I keep saying, people think, oh, you're just trying to make money. No, y'all need to read darkism. Y'all need to read A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. Y'all need to read my books, because if you did read my books, you would know that I look at darkism in the scope of what I call systemic economic darkism. It's in my book. I created hold on, let me finish this. I created the first dark-skinned glossary of terms in my book, Darkism. Now, systemic economic darkism comes out of the global darkism. When we look at it in its economic and social and political capacity, and I've always said this to people, when we talk about the entertainment aspect of it and the black male female relationship aspect of it, that's one aspect of it. But if you dig deeper into the science of dark-skinned activism, you would know that I'm hitting on it from a political, social, and economic level. Because if we go back to racism and white supremacy, we know that darkism started out of European imperialist expansion, which is economic in nature. And so if we are dealing with systemic economic darkism, we are dealing with eradicating the economic problems of Black people throughout the world, dark-skinned people throughout the world. We are dealing then with eradicating the political and social problems of dark-skinned people throughout the world. So there's one person that interviewed me. I'll always respect him to this day, Saladin. He was the only person that delved into my background with my master. And I don't talk about my master's degree and impress y'all, but he delved into my background with my master's degree in political science, where I wrote about the dark-skinned people of Sierra Leone and the systemic economic darkism that they face, that is directly a result of European imperialism and colonialization through what is known as economic policies that created the war in Sierra Leone. So the scope is huge. This is what I keep trying to, but they love to put me in this box because of the Kendrick Lamar thing of, oh, you just this person that's coming at rappers. No, this darkism, the science of dark skin activism is huge. That's why I'm telling y'all to donate so I can continue to spread this. This is not a joke, y'all. I'm not bragging here. I'm giving y'all my background. I've taught at the college level. Okay, I taught for 2 years at the college level. You're not dealing with some, basic person off the street. This is people continue to put me in that one box. So that's where the disconnect is coming from, where people are not fully doing their research on the dark skinned activists. Because if they did, they would know these things.
So the reason why I asked that question is because me and you are both dark skinned women. So it's not like I'm a light skinned woman. So right. When we're talking, how do you feel, like me being a dark skinned woman with a different phenotype, how do you feel so economically I would benefit over you if the issue is darkism, not phenotypical nose and hair texturism?
Well, it's all a part of the same thing. The closer a person is to whiteness, you're going to benefit more. It's like a pyramid where the darkest and not, let me just say this factually. let's just go off of facts.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the most oppressed people in the world, they are dark skinned with the nappiest, kinkiest hair. Look at Africa. All you got to do is look at Africa and look at the slave trade. So the facts show that it is the darkest skinned people with the kinkiest hair, the people that are the most Afrocentric, that suffer the most from systemic economic dark. That's what I call it. Systemic economic darkism. Some other people might call it racism.
Mm-hmm.
Call it systemic economic darkism.
Mm-hmm.
An example of that would be Sierra Leone with the war that lasted 10 years. So all you have to do is look at history. The facts of history show and prove this. It's nothing, I don't want people to get this misconstrued. It's nothing personal against you. I don't have anything against anybody. All I care about.
No. I'm just asking a question so that I can get an understanding.
Right. What I care about is what is the facts. The facts show us. All you gotta do is look at Africa. Africa is in dire fucking poverty. The Black Africa, like I'm talking about the black. When I say Black Africa, I'm talking about dark skinned people with the Negroid features of nappy, kinky hair. Those are the people that are the most impoverished. That's a fact. That's not something that Rashida is making up.
Right.
That's the angle that I come from. That darkism comes out of looking at the historical situation of dark-skinned people with kinky hair. I asked the question many times to my professors. I said, what is going on here? None of them wanted to deal with it. I was almost forced to create this darkism paradigm because nobody would really deal with it head on. And it's so much bigger than, oh my God, Kendrick Lamar. I've been talking about darkism way before Kendrick Lamar. It's bigger than this is huge.
Well, let me ask you a question, Rashida, so that I can get a better understanding. Okay, so now that we've kind of created a difference in the separation between dark skin and then being dark skin with certain phenotype and then light skin. So in the case of, let's say, for instance, a dark skinned Black woman, what are the ways in which a dark skinned Black woman, or what is it, not a dark skinned Black, what are the ways in which a Black woman can become, and I'm asking this question to ask another question. What are the ways in which a Black woman can become financially and economically successful?
Oh God, what the dark-skinned Black woman has to do is she has to start a business. That's one.
Okay. But as far as Black women, period,
they have to start businesses. That's probably, I would say, one of the immediate. We're talking about getting immediate results, and based upon my own personal experience, we have to start businesses.
The reason why I asked that is because when we're talking about dark-skinned Black people, in particular females, because you got to understand, when you're talking about Black men and Black women, there is a difference because men can advance in certain, that's a gender thing. So now, but let's talk about dark-skinned or Black women, period. So as a Black woman, one of the ways, or a couple of ways that you can become financially stable or financially equipped or socioeconomically advanced financially is either working for somebody or getting married to a person that has money or being married into wealth. That's the reason why I wanted to understand, and what instance were we talking about? Were we talking about darkism as far as relationships or darkism as far as corporate America? Because there's a difference. And the reason why I say that is because I've seen a lot of Black women, again, when we're talking about corporate America, they do not like to deal with attractive Black women. White women do not like to deal with attractive Black women. They like to deal with Black women who are no threat to them. And usually, to be honest with you, nowadays at least, that doesn't necessarily entail skin color. A lot of these white women like to deal with fat Black women. A lot of these white women like to deal with Black women who wear their natural hair, and their natural hair may not be a threat to them because to them it's unattractive. So a lot of white women, I've seen a lot of dark-skinned Black women in HR positions. I've seen a lot of dark-skinned, even heavy dark-skinned. My sister has a PhD and ain't got no problem with getting no job, but she's not happy. Why? She's a dark-skinned, heavy-set Black woman with glasses that makes these white people feel comfortable. Right. So she doesn't have a problem socio-financially. Now, what's the other way in which a Black woman can become successful or get money is if she marries a rich Black man. And at that particular point, that's where colorism from what I can see, plays a real part or a real problem. A lot of these black men are not dating dark-skinned black women. So that's why I'm asking, in what context are we talking about colorism here? Because you may have a system or a particular company that only hires or has light-skinned people at the top, or whatever the case may be, and may then discriminate against darker skin, like you said, the rehiring process for darker skinned people. But at the same time, if you're talking about that, then you have to also bring in racism, because above that light-skinned black person is a white person who is purposely creating that division. So it's not just colorism in that instance, it's also racism. But if you're talking about dating wise and how that black woman can move up socioeconomically, financially, that is one of the ways. That's why I wanted to understand, in which ways are you saying that dark-skinned black women are at the bottom? Because in corporate America, dark-skinned black women are not necessarily at the bottom per se.
Dark-skinned black people and including dark-skinned black women are at the bottom of every aspect of human existence. That's what I keep trying to explain to, well, I'm not trying to, but I've said this from the outset, but people keep ignoring that part because they only want to deal with the entertainment part because of the Kendrick Lamar situation.
So then let me ask you this. In what instance, how would I be affected? I'm a dark-skinned black woman. How do you feel like me being affected is different from how you're being affected?
Well, again, it's a hierarchy. Again, based on the closer you are to whiteness, you may receive more privileges. And again, this has been proven during slavery. It's a hierarchy. The darkest people are with the nappiest hair are at the bottom. And when I'm not talking about just in America, I'm talking about on a global level. And I keep saying this over and over again because this is what I need for people to do. I need for people to read my books, and then they would go read my thesis from the University of South Florida. And then you will understand that darkism encompasses dark-skinned people's life chances. And I take that from Max Weber. He talks about this idea of life chances. That encompasses every aspect of human existence.
Can I ask you, in what year did he write that book?
Max Weber is a sociologist. I mean, he wrote a whole bunch of books. And hold on, let me explain. The idea of life chances, you can find that in all of his writings. Like, all you got to do is Google Max Weber, and you'll see this idea of life chances. And all it just means is how you fare in education, health, any area of human existence.
Can I ask you, how does dark skin in this day and age, how does a dark skinned person, how is their education different from a light skinned person's education? How would it be different?
I'll use myself. Case in point, I talk about this in my book, Darkism. Y'all need to get my book. When I was going to the University of South Florida, I tried to get into the Africanist Studies program. Mm-hmm. And there were non-dark-skinned Black people in this program. And I have a strong reason to believe that these people kept me, I wrote about this in my book, kept me from getting into this program because I was dark-skinned. When I went in, now, of course, this stuff is very hard to prove. When you go to court, you take people to court, you got to really come and prove it. But sometimes stuff is right. The case, even if you can't necessarily prove it with concrete evidence. So I didn't want to get a master's degree in political science. I wanted to get a master's degree in Africanist Studies. And the Africanist Studies program was controlled by non-dark-skinned Black people. I submitted my application and I was qualified, and they did not let me in that program. That's an example of darkism. Now, some people will look at that and say, Rashida, you're wrong. That's my gut feeling. It's one of those things that I might not be able to prove with, concrete evidence, but I could prove it with circumstantial evidence. Like, mm-hmm. why do I see these non-dark-skinned Black people in here, and I'm dark-skinned, and I'm going over here saying, hey, what's going on with my application? And y'all totally ignore me. Explain that. That's darkism. Now, that's darkism. You see what I'm saying? That's the economic darkism. That's the part about the life chances. Life chances includes me as a dark-skinned Black woman, my ability to obtain an education.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just one example among many. We could be here all night with me pointing out examples of global darkism. That again, it's not just about people. I want y'all to understand. I'm glad you actually bringing this up. It's not, okay, hold on one second. I'm sorry, but I'm finna, y'all coming up on here talking about these other people. Y'all know how I do this. I'm finna remove it. We're not gonna do that. Y'all not gonna come up on here disrespecting me. But anyway, I could be here all night. I just had to at least somebody comment because I'm not gonna put up with that foolishness. I could be here all night talking about this because black people continue to want to act like Rashida Strober is not a scholar. You can't take away, and I'm not talking about you, Brittany. I'm just saying this is what has been going on in general since the whole Kendrick Lamar debacle. You can't take away my master's degree. You can't take away the fact that I wrote about the dark-skinned people of Sierra Leone and spoke about structural adjustment policies. You can't take away the fact that I've been giving darkism lectures in my community and a community activist for years. You can't take that away that I've written 7 dark-skinned books. I'm a scholar. You can't classify me just on the, like you're talking about, the relationship, the black male female relationship aspect as it relates to darkism and colorism. That is not the crux of darkism. Darkism has many departments, and I've spoken on this.
Right, and that's why I wanted to know exactly where we were going, because if we're speaking on different, like again, if we're speaking on jobs and so forth, a lot of the, and in that case, your case is a very, and I don't mean this in any, but that situation with you being with your school situation, that's an isolated incident, which means that the chances of that happening to a bunch of other people, from out of 10, it may be 2 or 3 other people. Darkism or colorism does play a part in families. Colorism plays a part in relationships between men and women, or women and women, or men and men, whatever the case may be. Colorism plays a part in certain instances where you might not get the entertainment job, or you might not get the job that promotes certain beauty because of your complexion. But when we're talking about corporate America, there has to be, and that is usually how you will be able to sustain any type of financial stability. It's a difference between racism and colorism. So those two definitely have to be distinguished. The reason why I'm asking is because we are holding this conversation, and I may not have read your book, but we are having this conversation and people are hearing it, and I definitely wanted to be able to understand exactly where you were coming from when you were saying that dark-skinned black women in particular, because again, gender can also play a role. So we're talking about darkism. How does it affect dark-skinned men and versus there's so many different, like you said, levels to it, because you can't say that I have it easier in as far as socioeconomically, and we're both dark skinned. So the only way that I could see that we would have a difference as far as this darkism would be when it comes to who gets a man's dick harder, faster.
Again, that's a part, I would argue that that's a part of the socioeconomic aspect of it.
That's why I was correct. That's why I was saying to you earlier. So that means that you're saying that part of it is if you're marrying into or with a man that has money, right?
You're on the same page, where again, it all goes back to the fact that when I speak on darkism, I'm including every aspect of human existence. And Dr. Margaret Hunter specifically talks about a woman's beauty. She calls it social capital, in their ability, using light skin as social capital, in their ability to marry the best and the brightest, the wealthiest black men. So that would be socioeconomics. That goes back to the politics of darkism.
But in that case, it wouldn't benefit me.
Well, my point that I'm making is that darkism is all encompassing. That's the point that I'm making. Whether, darkism is gonna impact different people differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what I'm saying is overall, darkism impacts people, the lives of dark-skinned people, no matter how dark you are. We talked about the levels to the dark skin.
Mm-hmm.
It impacts the lives of dark-skinned people on the levels of, and I would even we can talk about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing and Dr. Neely Fuller, who talk about, I believe it's, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's 11 areas of people activity. Okay, we can even take it to that level, because they talk about racism and white supremacy impacting the 11 areas of people activity. Okay, because I don't plagiarize, I have to say I'm getting this idea from Dr. Frances Cress Welsing and Dr. Neely Fuller. Darkism is impacted by every area of people activity, the 11 areas that Dr. Neely Fuller, and I believe it's entertainment, it's law. Y'all could help me out, but it's 11 areas: entertainment, law, sports, sex, education. Y'all help me out in the comments. There's 11 areas. Study Dr. Neely Fuller. So it's the same exact thing with darkism. Darkism impacts all the areas. And it's, of course, it's not going to impact one person in the same exact way. It's levels to it. So my argument is never like, I'm not here to diminish your experience.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to get, like I said, I understand how colorism plays a part in society in certain instances. But when you say socioeconomically, again, when we're talking about women, there are mainly two ways in which you can become financially equipped other than entrepreneurship, and that's through corporate America or through a man.
Agreed. I agree with you. We're not going to get any argument.
Right. So in the case of corporate America, I don't see, there's not dark-skinned black women are achieving in corporate America. Dark-skinned black women, their issue is usually with black men, as to the point of the black man that you were saying earlier that said that you were not as attractive as Cardi B, which really did bother you.
Right. The overall point that I'm making is I'm not just looking at, and again, this is what I want people to understand. I know y'all love to hear me rant and cuss and go through about these celebrities, but what I've always looked at is darkism in its totality. Again, in every area of, going back to Dr. Neely Fuller, people activity, because that's his words, people activity. So what that means is that what are you watching, Lauren?
Okay, so the question, so when you say that darkism affects, when I told you, okay, so earlier, just to retract, I said that I've never had a bad instance with a white police officer, but I'm a dark-skinned black female.
Okay. And again, what I will say to that is not everybody's experience with darkism is going to be the same.
So is it darkism based on attractiveness, or is it colorism based on attractiveness or unattractiveness?
Well, I deal with darkism. Darkism is based on the discrimination of a person based on their dark skin, whatever form that takes. And what I'm saying again is I'm looking at it in the aggregate. That is very important. I am not just looking at darkism in America. I'm looking at global darkism, because when we look at global darkism, we see that it's the darkest people that are the most impoverished. That is what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Satisfied with their I'm glad you're raising this. Token Dark Girl. Y'all got to get my book, Token Dark Girl, when I finish it, because Token Dark Girl deals with the idea that it's only one person that can achieve this, or one person. I'm not satisfied with that. Okay, that to me, being a token dark girl is in and of itself darkism. I have a problem with that. One of the people I talked about in the book, which is the reason why we having this whole live stream, is Lauryn Hill. I call Lauryn Hill a token dark girl in my book, Token Dark Girl, but Lauryn Hill, I'm kind of like fighting myself with calling her a token dark girl, because she transcends token dark girl tokenism to me. But another token dark girl that I have in the book that I wrote about, people gonna take issue with that, Lupita. Y'all got to read the book to find out why Lupita is a token damn dark girl. Keeping it 100. Y'all be mad, she is. Y'all got to read my book. Y'all will find out why. So
right.
So I'm not interested in token dark girls or pockets of dark-skinned people doing well. I'm interested in dark-skinned people on a whole, on a global scale, not being in poverty anymore. That's what I've always been on. People love to keep putting me in this damn Kendrick Lamar. I've always been speaking on the global aspect of dark skin discrimination.
Now, keep in mind, dark skin Black American discrimination is different from dark skin Indian and Asian, or that is a completely different type of. It's different,
right?
Right, because see, they have an actual caste system, pertaining to just strictly dark skin, and they can all look alike with the same hair texture and everything. It's just dark skin. And for Black Americans, it's dark skin, phenotype, nose, lips, hair. So it's completely different. Whereas with them, it's just simply just dark skin. That's a cultural thing. It has something to do with European or colonization of Europeans or by Europeans, but it's a completely different aspect.
Right.
From what Black Americans go through. So that's the reason why when we're talking, I can't speak to no Indian. I can't speak to an Asian. I can't speak to you. I can only speak to a Black American person. So when we're talking about in America, for a so-called Black American as of today, that's being discriminated against when it comes to darkism or colorism, it's not so much from what I'm hearing. For a Black woman, it's not just simply because she's dark skinned. Is it because she's dark skinned and unattractive? Again, I'm not talking about Indians. I'm not talking about Asians. But as far as a dark skin, because you bring up Chile and you bring up Ananda Lewis and you bring up the Maya Campbells, and these are dark skinned individuals. They're just dark skinned individuals that have a certain phenotype.
Right.
So if we're talking about darkism, we can't sit there and exclude them. We can't exclude a person simply.
They're not excluded. I don't exclude them.
But no, the reason why I say that is because earlier you did say that my situation, I'm not treated like you.
It's a part of global. It's all a part of global darkism. So they're not excluded. I did I don't want to talk too much about it because of the plagiarism issues that's going on YouTube. But I did a live stream about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago, speaking on people like Maya Campbell. And I took that down because of some issues that's going on. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I will say it's all a part of the darkism paradigm. They are not excluded.
Okay.
Are you still there? I think did you leave us?
Nope, I'm here.
No, okay, Angel. Let me, because I want a Black male perspective. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Like, because I'm not understanding if this is an issue. Because oftentimes in the conversation, Rashida did make a differentiation between me and her, but we're both dark skinned. But the only difference is that phenotypically, as she stated, I might not look like the majority of what dark skinned people are considered to look like. So in that instance, it's almost like there's an exclusion. But how can there be if it's all about? So is it being dark skinned and attractive versus dark skinned and unattractive? Because to be honest, that's how the conversation led about, was with the Cardi B versus who's attractive, her. So that's why I'm kind of like, okay, what is this? What is really? Is it about attractiveness versus in dark skin? Or
say this real quick. The reason for the live stream is because a light-skinned Black man said that light-skinned Cardi B looks better than dark-skinned Rashida Strober. So it initially started out with a light-skinned versus dark skin, because I'm dark-skinned and Cardi B is not even Black, white.
Right, but you did ask in the beginning, is this because she's dark, or is it because you're dark skinned, or do I feel like if you had a certain phenotype that I had, would he still say that?
Right. And that's the reason I asked that question, is because you're here with a different perspective on dark skin with a different phenotype. That is the reason why I asked that question. I didn't know that you were going to come on tonight. So if you were, let's say we hadn't talked, I would have came on here and the discussion would have been light skin versus dark skin, because that's the way it initially started. But because you came on and added a perspective that I think is important, that's the reason why I asked that question. That's the context.
Okay. No, I just wanted to get an understanding, because like I said, again, it can easily turn into is she dark skinned and pretty, or is she dark skinned and ugly? Who gets it worse, the dark skinned pretty girl or the dark skinned ugly girl? Then you got the light skin issue. So it shouldn't be about a phenotype per se if it's about colorism.
Well, for me, Now, and I do understand that other people include other aspects, but for me, I focus only on dark skin. I'm just being straight up and honest with you. I created a lane and I'm staying in my lane. I have no problem with other people speaking on, colorism from their perspective, but for me, it's about the dark skin, and that's what I stay with. So I'm being honest with you. That's what I stay with. But that, again, because you have a different perspective and I like hearing other people's perspectives, that's why I have no problem with another person that comes in and say, hey, there's another angle to this. But that's not my lane. I'm just being honest. My lane is speaking about purely being dark skinned. That's my lane.
Okay. But I just want to say one thing, Rashida. Now, if we're talking about simply just dark skin, people with dark skin, Black Americans with dark skin are going to have different experiences because of those different phenotypes. Absolutely. So are you speaking to dark skinned people that have your particular phenotype? Because again, in order for it to be a different dichotomy to the situation, it has to be a different type of individual that you're speaking to, because I personally might not be able to relate to some of your issues, whereas you might, even as you stated, might not be able to relate to some of mine, but we're both dark skinned. So are you talking to dark skinned people? And you did say in one of your vlogs before that you're speaking to dark skinned people that are full Black, that look fully Black.
Yeah, and I've also said I'm speaking
with West African features.
I've also said in many interviews, again, y'all gotta really do y'all research, that I'm speaking about global darkism. And I've also spoke about global darkism, darkism that takes place over in India, the darkism that takes place over in Asia, the darkism that takes place all over the world. So I speak to anybody that's dark skinned, but again, my primary focus is dark skin. I don't diverge into the other areas, which again, I have no issue with other people. People can do whatever they want, but for me, I stay focused on what I'm supposed to do. And that's the deal with the dark skin issue. So I'm speaking to all dark skinned people.
Okay.
And they can dark skinned people, again, like I said earlier, I'm just here to disseminate the information from my point of view. I do not control interpretations. I never try to do that. That's not my job. It's just for me to get the information out there. And if you pull this from it, that's great. If this person you see us live on that, Lauren? if this person pulls something else from it, that's great. I have no problem. But my focus is laser sharp. I gotta stay focused on what I do, and that is to speak to dark skin. That's what I'm all about. I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. So y'all need to make sure y'all donate now. Y'all need to real quickly, I want to say thank you to SKYPE Reeves for your $10 donation. I really, 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 really appreciate that. Make sure y'all go ahead and donate. I'm on the Dark Skin Activist Tour. I'm getting ready to drop Token Dark Girl, which is, I think the book is absolutely fire. Y'all gonna love it. So, I need the funds to promote the book. First of all, to create the book, distribute the book, and then promote the book. So please go ahead and make a donation. You can go to my GoFundMe or you can go to my PayPal. So you got a little quiet over there, my friend.
Well, I didn't really expect to say nothing for real. I just wanted to come and be in person and among all your beautiness. Back in the cut, really, I didn't really have a whole lot to say. Anyway, I mean, you're the first dark-skinned activist and everything. And
talk. Say, no, like y'all don't, please do not.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Just listening.
Like, speak your piece. I love it. I am not. Let me tell you something. I am not offended by a diverging point of view. That makes no sense. I have never been that way.
It's getting a little on the late side. I would like to say, I want to bring up a couple of little things real quick.
Okay.
When it comes to
11, it's 11:43.
Of course, as you know, we do have the discrimination against dark-skinned people, but also from my experience, I've seen a reverse, and I'm pretty sure you have too, where you have lighter skinned brothers and sisters among more darker skinned people, and they get called the little white boy, the little white girl, and they don't get treated very well, you know, among dark skinned people. I'm pretty sure you've seen that before.
Right.
And also, I'm pretty sure that you know, not only do the brothers, you know, they seek out the lighter skinned sisters, but you have the sisters that also they seek like out the light skinned brothers. That's, you know, that also.
Yeah.
It's all part of the whole same type of clique, and it's either one or the other. And of course, dark skinned people are more affected, but you do have brothers and sisters who are out there and they suffer trauma too because of that, you know, because as far as they're concerned, I'm just a black person. I can't help because I'm born light, but they get around because of the trauma, because of this discrimination. The dark skinned people, they look at our brothers and sisters like that as some kind of enemy. And then they trauma, oh, you think you're a white girl, you think you're a white boy because they have these, you know, lighter skin, these different features. I've seen that happen before.
No, I agree with you, and that's why I'm saying, like, to Brittany, and I want you to know this because I got a lot of respect for you. I respect your struggle that you go through. Mm-hmm. Your struggle is in no way diminished because me and you have had many conversations, and I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, somebody has been through something because of their phenotype. It might not look like mine, that they don't have an issue or they're not being treated bad. I would never do that. Even with y'all, quiet as it's kept. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all don't know this, but I'm telling you, I even counsel light-skinned people behind the scenes. I never even say their names. So it's not even about that to me. What I'm about overall is human equality.
Right.
People need to understand. I don't have an issue with anybody. What I do have an issue with is people being mistreated. I don't like seeing any human being mistreated. I don't care what color you are. Okay. And my track record of, and I don't like bragging about stuff they're really talking about. I need people to understand this. It is not about me diminishing anybody else's experience because I'm not in somebody's skin and I don't know how that person feels or how they was affected by that. I can't, as a human being, I can't do that to somebody else. The reason why y'all always hear me talk about dark skin, because really it came out of my own experience.
Right.
Talk about myself. I'm not like shitting on nobody else and saying, oh, because, you know, you look this way or I'm talking about myself and my need to have Black men acknowledge me. And then I just started talking about it and other people started relating to it. And then some people started hating on, but that's what it is. Overall, what it is for me is to end human suffering. I don't like to see I don't care if the person is white, green, yeah, I don't care. Okay. It's all about human equality for me. At the end of the day, that's what I want. I don't want nobody to be discriminated against.
Right.
For any reason, because in my eyes, I feel we're all equal. The only people that I don't give a pass to, I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a pass to child molesters and people that abuse old people. If you're doing that, I'm done with you. Everybody else, it can be redeemed as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, it's all about human equality to me. So I respect everybody's struggle. It's just when you have your own struggle and you are in pain, sometimes you don't look out. You're looking at it through tunnel vision. I admit that. That's one of my flaws. I fully admit that. Beat me up. People already. I don't care.
You know, people have to. People are so self-righteous and they don't want to understand another person's struggle. You know, I can't tell a woman. I'm just going to use this as an example. You know, because it has happened to men too, but women, of course, as you know, more victim of a rape than men. Right. Men get raped also. I mean, for those who don't know, men get raped. I know a brother that got raped by other men. And then after a certain period of time, you tell these people, because it didn't happen to you, you need to get over it. I'm in no position to tell somebody how to deal with their trauma. That's a very traumatic experience.
Right.
I'm not in a position to tell nobody how they should feel, what they should do, or nothing like that. If anything, the best thing that you can do is try to understand where that person is coming from, because they are coming from just like Rashida just said, I'm coming from a place of hurt and pain. You know, there are some people, I mean, you don't never get over no rape. It's going to always be there. You got some sisters that have been raped. They try to act normal, whatever. But then you have those persons who never get over. Matter of fact, these women never have they can never have a decent relationship with a male. No matter how nice I am, I look like I'm a male. I look like that which caused her hurt and pain.
Right.
No matter how nice, no matter what I talk, no matter what I say, I look like that which caused her hurt and pain. And she's not going to open up like that because I look like that which caused her pain. So, you know, we can't, a lot of people don't understand that about you because I hear people say, she's against the light-skinned people. I say, yeah, that's false.
Not true. My best friend.
That's not false. And then one thing about it, I asked them to prove it. Can you prove this? I mean, what are you saying?
If I'm against light-skinned people, then why do I have light-skinned people that I have been in communication with for years, counseling them? I'm not going to say these people's name unless they give me their permission. Do you really think somebody is going to talk to somebody that they don't like?
But you're not saying nothing. I've never seen nothing that you wrote.
They just
seen nothing that you said that's against light-skinned brothers and sisters. I never seen that. So I don't know where they're coming from.
I'm not mad at, I don't hate Cardi B. What I don't like, I do feel that she has disrespected Lauryn Hill. I do feel that she is taking advantage of her light-skinned privilege by getting all those views on, you know, the sampling of Lauryn Hill's song. What I'm not going to do, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to stop being honest and telling people how I really feel. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and sugarcoat stuff.
Right.
People need to understand.
I mean, that's what everybody on social media, you come on here, and if you come out in the public, you have the right. If I'm a public figure, you're a public figure. Everybody has the right to critique what we have to say and what we present. But also, if you write in the comments, the same thing happens to you. People have the right to judge.
People have been tearing me up for years. I've received 6 death threats before. When Kendrick Lamar, they was really coming at me. People saying they was gonna send bombs to my house. All kinds. I don't know. I done went through it hell and back with some of these people. But do you think that's not gonna change what I'm gonna say? If they think I'm a backtrack, that's never gonna happen. It's not, unless you can present me some information that's logical and makes sense. That's the only reason. But other than that, I'm not gonna change from my core values and beliefs unless there's a reason to. But that does not mean, just because somebody is critiquing someone does not mean you hate the person.
Right.
You hate for nobody.
Right.
But, you know, humans, we got to be honest. Human beings we create human suffering. We causing each other problems. Right. Why are you sitting up here causing other people, like you talked about tonight, Brittany, and I'm listening to you, and you're right. You're talking about the issues going on in corporate America, or the issues going on job, or the issues that you face. Why are people causing you problems? Why would you do that to somebody?
Right.
Person alone and let them damn be. It's crazy. But people don't do that.
All the problems that we're dealing with here are man-made.
Right.
They're not natural. They come from men. If men created it, men can solve the problem. The problem is you have those who like these positions. They like being in these positions where they can exploit. Yep. I feel better because I'm light-skinned. I feel better because I'm rich. Whatever it is, they like these positions. That's why I go on and on and on, because you have a certain group of people that quite generally, they like being in the position that they are in.
Absolutely. And for me, I honestly think white people are just naturally, white people are just, their whole being is completely different from black people. Right. So but then you have lights or black people who then try to emulate these white people. And these are black people who at whatever particular point in their life seemingly has a form of privilege, and they want to exercise that over black people because they see their oppressors do it. So white people are just naturally savage in their nature and just hunters, and that's just what they do. So we're excluding them. But black people try to emulate you know, what they see people in positions of this power do in this power structure. So whether that be with your light skin, whether that be with your money, whether that be with your whatever it is, you have black people that like to exercise that form of power, managers, whatever. That's
the problem with the continent of Africa that was living under colonial rule.
Yep.
They are mimicking and trying to emulate the ones that oppress them.
Yep.
That's the whole problem with that continent. It makes no sense for that continent having all the resources available to them for them to be in the condition that they are in. But they find the ones that are in these positions, they don't care about their citizens. These rulers, these dictators, whatever the hell, these people that's in power, they don't care nothing about. They are like sister's saying, they're trying to emulate the Caucasian. And not only that, you know, people want to emulate a winner. But folks around the world listening to this broadcast, you have to understand the reason why the Caucasian people are winners, because they are murderers, they are liars, they are thieves, they are enslavers. This is how they became a winner. Do you want to be a winner because you exploit people, because you are a rapist, you are a liar, you are a thief? Is that what you call success? That's how you want to make your...
Like Tupac said, I shouldn't have to knock a fella just to live large like Rockefeller. And also, for heads will roll, I do look black. He said I look not. The reason why I have an advantage is because I look non-black. No, I look black.
Man, you know what, Brittany? If you, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. If you was to show your face, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh my God.
What?
Oh my God. You gonna do y'all want to by the way share any
I'll still be with you, Rashida. You don't have to worry about it. She can show her face. I'll still be with you.
No, if I was to show my face, what, Rashida?
People are gonna, you think they saying stuff now, but it comes along with the territory. I've been attacked like so much, so I can't even. I just don't even care. That's the them. Like, do y'all want to share any social media, whatever y'all want to share with anybody? Like, what if you want them to follow you or?
Well, Sister Brittany, she's a lady. She goes first.
You know what? I actually don't have much social media, to be honest with you.
Okay.
The only thing I have is a Facebook page, and I have nothing on there except for posts that I post. And it's Brittany Queen, and then in the little emphasis it says it's Deity Nagasi. So you can go on Facebook and look up Brittany Queen, and all I have really is just posts that I post from other people's pages about injustices and so forth.
Okay.
Well, Brittany Queen, I really enjoyed what you had to bring, and you need to come back here.
I agree.
Matter of fact, you need to come to my channel.
I definitely will. I love talking to Black people about these types of issues, especially people who really are up on Malcolm X and all this Black stuff. Because listen, it's not many people that's comfortable talking, not many Black people comfortable talking about this, and not many Black people that can intellectually talk about these issues. And so I just really love holding these conversations, and being that I'm young still, like I got energy. I love it. Like this really I love talking about this kind of stuff because it's the truth. It needs to be heard.
Agreed. It's fantastic. Go ahead.
Yeah, but for me,
channel.
Of course, your audience might be a little familiar with me by now. I'm Angelsnupnup7, the host of the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I'm your soul brother #1. She's the first dark-skinned activist, but I'm your soul brother #1. And just do a Google search and look me up on Facebook and of course on YouTube. But I am generally right now involved in a campaign, and I hope that my sister Rashida helps me out a little bit here.
Of course, I will.
We want to take control of a state. We was talking about we need to be in a better position in this country. And I don't see nothing wrong with us taking control of a state. Many of y'all out there in YouTube land, you call yourselves gods and queens and kings and all like that. Why can't you take over a state? And we chose the state of Mississippi because it's the path of least resistance. It wouldn't take a whole lot in order to take control of the state. I'm not talking about rebuilding anything or nothing. Taking control of the political system, you go in, you can take control of the governor house, all the political seats in the government, and you control the law in that state. You control the law in that state, you can control how the education system is run, and everything that goes along with the state, including the National Guard, the military of that state. You take control of that state. All the things that we talk about, all the doors open for you. International trade. All types of things that can happen to you when you take control of the state, because you have instead of speaking alone, you have the power of a state behind you. You control your educational system, you control all the infrastructure, you control all these different things, and you put it in control. You take control of all those different things. You make a safe haven for the brothers and sisters who want to do things that have a fear of the Caucasian people. Now you got a place that they can come to. They have a place where they can go and they can practice and do things where you can create an economy, because you know there are small towns right now in America. Don't you know they produce their own money? They produce their own money and circulate it within that town. We can take control of the state of Mississippi, and to make sure our money stay within our circle, we can develop and create our own money in that state. There's a whole lot of different things that you can do. A whole lot of different doors open up. And one of the doors is that you finally, within the last 500 years, you finally take control of your own destiny. Finally, you put yourself in a position, you make the claim. A lot of people talk about, I don't need no white man, I can make it on my own. Well, here's your perfect opportunity. You said that you don't need no white man to do nothing for you. Here's your opportunity. Take this state, which is a poor, poverty-stricken state, one of the poorest states in the nation. Come in, take control of it, make it successful, make it rich, and prove yourself. Otherwise, what you would do, you go in and prove exactly what the racists say, that you have low IQ, and all thing you're going to do is turn it into a big, large ghetto. I don't think that's for us. We can do this. And when you come into it, because you don't have to worry, once you take control of the state, you don't have to worry about these suckers bothering you. Of course, it's not going to be easy, because they don't want you to be successful. Like they always tell us, pull yourself by your own bootstraps and all this. Well, that's what we're doing. We're doing it on our own. We're asking you for no dime, not for one dime. We're doing it on our own accord. And we want to make this a nationwide issue, because every man, woman, and child, unlike the civil rights movement, every man, woman, and child, this is like, to me, it's like going to war. And you want every man, woman, and child to be involved in it so they can say, look what we done. Not what Taalik done, not what Rashida done, not what Brittany done. We do this, and this is what we done. Every child can even say, even a child can say, well, you know, I grew a corn plant. I raised paper for the cause, just like we was at war. You know, in World War II, the children got involved, gave their comic books away. That's why comic books are rare. Because during World War II, the children, I gave up my comic books so they can recycle the paper, and I did this and that. And that's the way we have to look at this, like we're going to war, and we're going to take over this territory for ourselves. Has never been done. Has never been done. But if you do this and be successful at it, you can catch up. You can catch up for what we lagged behind for the last 400 years. I don't see nothing nobody is doing or nobody is saying that can have the effect that this can do and can change the destiny of our people. There's nothing I've seen. There's nothing that nobody's presenting nowhere. The best thing I hear people talk about, well, let's make a business. What is your business? Few $1 million.
Angel.
Take over a state. You can create businesses that's worth billions, just like your Caucasian counterpart. You know, you want people to start my own business. What kind of business you want to do? I want to make a barbecue grill. I want to open up a McDonald's franchise. That's little tiddlywink stuff. When you think small, you're gonna get small results. You got to. We have come to the point in our period of time where we have to think big. The only thing stopping us is ourselves. Or maybe it's the truth that what the cracker said is true, that you suffer lie Q, you a bunch of savages can't get nothing done anyway.
Angel, I have a quick question.
Yeah,
for a black woman with my mentality, or just black women that have the mentality that me and Rashida have as far as knowledge of self and whoop and all that, do you think a black man that works in corporate America is a benefit to well, let me put it like this, because a black man that work in corporate America could be like the spook that sat next to the door, who could have a goal and just take the money and run, like Killmonger. But for those black men who are dead set on a 401k and who's comfortable as far as just trying to make money to pay their bills, do you think that type of a black man, and you knowing how this corporate system is set up to basically, what do you call it? What do you call it when they chop off a man's penis?
Castration.
Basically, corporate America is to castrate black males, because by the time you get off of corporate America, your penis don't even work because you're so stressed out if you ain't got colon cancer or something.
Right.
So do you think that a black man who's dead set on a 401k is really beneficial for a black woman?
No. Because like you said, he's caught up in that. He's caught up into something that does not want him independent.
Right.
Something that don't want him to be a man. He's always gonna be, excuse the word, but he's gonna be another man's bitch. You don't want to be that. That's why I'm telling us that we need to take control of a state and be a man and stay on your own 2 feet. If we fail, we fail. But if we succeed, oh, it's just all good. It's all good. I don't expect us to fail. So you have to have confidence in yourself. Stand on your own 2 feet. That's what I'm telling the brothers. The black man, the soul brothers, is the one that should be leading the charge. The hell with a barbecue grill. The hell with open up a McDonald's and all this other little tiddlywink stuff. Go for the big stuff. When these Caucasian people came to Europe, do you think they came here to talk about, I want a little bit of this, and I want to, their whole intent when they first came to this land, I'm taking it all. Well, people already here. We don't give a damn about all that. It's just like the state of Mississippi. You know, you got people already there, whatever. I don't care nothing about all that. You use, your oppressor gave you the right to vote. Our ancestors died for the right to vote. If it was not for terrorism, they would have already taken over that state, and Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama. It was terrorism that drove them out. They would have took it over anyway. Use your right to vote. Go in there, vote them suckers out enough where you can become the majority and do what you want to do for a change, which we never done. These suckers don't obey not one law or policy that we create. But you can go in and take control of this state, and when they come to this state, now you're going to be under the policy and laws created by the people that you hate. Too bad. That's your bad luck. But at the same time now, just like sister, we was talking about fighting for justice and humanity. Don't think all Caucasian people are as wicked as we believe. There are many who want to say, I'm tired, I want to live a damn decent life for a change. You may not believe it, but there might be Caucasian people in Mississippi right now that would join you when they learn what you want to do. And then when you take this state over and your crime rate is low, your prison population is low, your marriage is high, successful marriages, and your children are the brightest in the whole United States. Whole different ball game. You can do it. You can do it.
Now, Angel, I have another question.
Yeah.
When it comes to, now this goes back to the relationship aspect between black males and black females, which can definitely contribute to what you're talking about as far as taking over the state of Mississippi. Do you believe, and just being from, and I'm glad I'm talking to you, because for one, you're an educated black male, educated as far as knowledge of self, and then you're older, so you have a lot of life experience. Now, I'm in my 20s, and I keep saying that, and I keep reiterating that because, I mean, it's some things that I may not know that you do know. From what I've seen, and just a little bit of time that I've seen it in, do black men usually date a lot of the time, black men and black women relationships seemingly are based on a black man not wanting to just be on his mama's couch and trying to escape poverty. So he deals with a woman that maybe when he was in high school, he probably would have never had to, because at that particular time, you know, you have more of an option. You're younger. You don't have to worry about a job. But once a black man hits about 24 and he ain't on Chris Brown's level, or if he ain't on no corporate level, he tends to settle for the black woman that he usually would not have dealt with. That's usually either an out of shape chick, a chick who he didn't find attractive, and unfortunately she's not that red bone or that Hispanic that he thought that he was going to get. So the question that I have, are a lot of Black relationships between Black people, Brittany sounds really rich there. Are the relations, I don't know what that means, but okay, I take that as a compliment. Are the relationships between Black men and Black women usually based off of the Black man trying to escape poverty, and so that at that point that Black woman is a settling point as opposed to being his first choice? Because a lot of the times when you get these Black men together, their choice and their option, or their choice, looks completely different than their option or their significant other. Their choice is usually somebody who's racially ambiguous, or white or Hispanic, but she is not usually what he is dealing with. Is that something that is accurate, or is that something that's just based off of my 20 some odd years of living and I just need to see more of the world?
Well, I'll tell you this, from my experience, all of us, the majority of us, I would assume, we come from the Black. Your mother's Black, your father probably was Black, cousins, nieces, nephews. A lot of us grew up in the Black community. So as boys, we played with the Black girls. So as we grew older, we was attracted, in the beginning, we was attracted to our own, which is natural. It's natural. It's what happens, what changes us as we grow older and get influenced by the world. And unfortunately, this is a reality. You can be a dark-skinned brother or sister, and you can be ostracized by your own. Your own act like they don't want nothing to do with you for whatever reason. You know, I myself experienced that. You know, when I was growing up, basically all my friends was Caucasian. You know, because I don't know what it was about me. Maybe because I was a bookworm. I liked to read a lot, and I just wasn't into many of the things that, you know, a lot of my peers was into. And also, the Caucasian children accepted me just what, I didn't have to wear special clothes or nothing like that. The Caucasian children accepted me exactly the way I was. So my friends basically was Caucasian children and the rejects of the Black community. When I was growing up, if you was fat, you know, you was ostracized. You know, nobody liked fat people. And I didn't know what gay was, but one of my best friends was I guess he was gay because he liked to play with you know, I played with G.I. Joe and Batman, and he had Barbie. I'm like, what the hell was going on with him? But he was cool. He was cool. So, you know, if it was not for the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at an early age, I might be married to a Caucasian woman right now because my friends was Caucasian people, basically. You know, the music that I listened to was basically Caucasian music. But to this day, you know, I'm still an Elvis Presley fan. You know,
right?
You know, that's the way. You know, when you're growing up, things begin to influence you. Exactly. Different things begin to influence you, and especially if you become ostracized for whatever reason. And there are millions and millions of young ladies out there. But a brother, if he has bad experience, if he has bad experiences with a few sisters, then he calls the whole group bad. I have some nephews like that. Man, Black girls is this and that. I said, how many of these Black girls have you associated with? Oh, 3 or 4. Do you know there's hundreds of them? But they judge the few bad, and they paint the whole group like that. And, you know, we do that type of thing. So while we grow up and these influences they come from TV, because, you know, on TV, the Caucasian people show these interracial relationships and these homosexual relationships. You know, your head is filled up with all these different things. And the number one thing that is missing is we don't have self-pride. There's nobody. Your parents is not, you know, if it wasn't for Elijah Muhammad, I wouldn't know nothing. My parents didn't teach me nothing at all. Basically, I was born and it was trial and error. I had to learn everything myself. It's a sister I had on my blog talk last week. and she's a little older than me. It's the same thing. You know, our parents brought us into the world, and basically we had to raise ourselves by trial and error. So, you know, we didn't know nothing. Elijah Muhammad was the man that basically gave me any type of understanding of the world that I was born into. I ain't know nothing. And like I said, if it wasn't for those teachers, I could be married to a Caucasian woman right now. It wouldn't even be no problem, because those was the people that was kind to me. My own people made mockery of my skin color and didn't want me around. So what am I supposed to do?
Right.
So I understand, you know, I understand interracial relationships. My thing is, why is it always a Caucasian person? You keep talking about interracial relationship. It's always a Caucasian person. It's always a Caucasian person because we grew up with them. We're not growing up around Chinese or the Indians or no Japanese and nothing like that. We grew up around them, and we've been here with them 500 years. It's just like your pet dog. If your pet dog was wild like he's supposed to be, he wouldn't have nothing to do with you, but he's become domesticated. He's used to people. So we're used to them. No matter how you slap your dog, kick him in the ass, whatever, he come back wagging. That's how we do with these people. No matter what they do to us, holler and scream at us, call us nigger, and what the only thing we do is make excuses. Well, he's not the one. He's different. They different or whatever.
Right.
That's what we make excuses for that.
Completely oblivious to the fact, or we try to be oblivious. I think sometimes it may be a coping mechanism. What you think? Yeah.
It is. It's a coping mechanism. We're trying to deal with being exploited. You know, it's just like a person in an abusive relationship. When I was in an abusive relationship with my bully, when I should have been kicking my bully's ass, I was actually nice to the dude.
Right.
Because I knew what the dude might be able to do to me. So I was nice to him. I didn't want to be bullied. So if I'm nice to him, maybe he wouldn't bully me as much. So you believe, or they believe, if I'm nice to Caucasian people, maybe they won't kill me in the street like they do.
The reality,
maybe they give me an extra slice of bread on my plate, you know, when they put me in jail or something like that.
Or some extra butter biscuits.
Yeah, give me some. You like butter biscuits too?
No, but you know that's a term for those Sambos and them coons. They like them butter biscuits.
But look at this now. See, we use Sambo and coon. Now, who calls us Sambo and coon? We didn't call ourselves that.
Right, see? And the reason why I call these Sambos, and coons, because if they want to be so integrated with their slave master, then I'm gonna call them what them white folks call them. That's just how it is. But when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to me, I can't date. I have no attraction to no other race of men, no Asian, white, none of that. But I'm very aware, and I'm not blind to the fact that most black men are the way they are simply because of the fact that they live in a white supremacist system. And I want me a black king. I want me a Tupac mixed with Malcolm mixed with Marcus Garvey, and then Killmonger off of the Black Panther movie. I don't know if you've seen Black Panther, but Killmonger was that. Oh my God! I mean, that's a black god right there. You understand me? So if I could find somebody like that, I mean, and not, of course, not as far as the animation and the fantasy part of him with but just his whole demeanor as far as how he felt about his blackness, and he was unapologetic about it. If I could find that would be something beautiful. But those types of black men rarely exist. And then the only time that they feel comfortable speaking, and this is no offense to you, Angel, but the only time that they speak comfortably about it is when they get your age and when white people no longer see them as a threat directly. When they're in their youth, the motherfuckers, they want to make sure that they make white folks feel either comfortable or they're too ignorant and have no knowledge of self, and they just stuck on dumb. Doing hood shit, and they think that makes them real. That doesn't make you real. Let me tell you something. I've seen both aspects of how Black America is. I've seen the rich Black America, and I've seen the poor Black America. My parents, my dad, they some coons. I can admit that. My dad has a problem with the fact that no matter how much money he makes, nobody knows his bank account when he walks out the door. He's still a black male, so he gonna still get treated like how these white folks want to say, a nigga.
Right.
But he makes over $200,000 a year. They don't give a damn about how much you make. They don't know your pockets when you walk out that door. They just see a black man, and he struggles with that. He struggles with the fact that I make all this money, but I'm still getting treated like a nigga.
Right.
So he drinks. He drinks Heinekens and he ain't happy with my mama. And then my mama struggles with the fact that my dad doesn't really like her. He doesn't like her because she's not Becky. And they're not the white happy family that he wishes probably to be. You see what I'm saying? So now she's struggling with her own self-esteem and her own identity as a black person, as a black woman, and he's struggling with himself as a black man. So if I could just find me a black man that was financially equipped and mentally equipped, listen, to have a person, black, for a male or female black person, to be knowledgeable of themselves as a black person, to be equipped and have financial stability and then some as an American, and then to know themselves as a Hebrew, so-called African person, that right there is, I mean, that's everything. But you don't find that. That's very rare. It's very rare. And then again, when it comes back to the darkism, colorism thing, if a black man knew who he was and knew the worth of his metal, do you not know that your skin, like these white people, these pink people, they have no melanin like that. That melanin from their pineal gland does not secrete. So therefore, they have no rhythm. They eat raw food. Everything about them is almost animalistic because of the fact that they lack that melanin. They lack that connection to the sun. They lack that connection to this earth. Their hair, it does not stand up, which gives them vibrations that's natural to this earth. We are natural people. Everything about them is unnatural, so they have to create products in order to sustain. Milk is for white people, not for blacks. Suntan and all that is for them because they have to protect themselves. They have to create things to protect them. Why do you think band-aids are the color of their flesh? Everything that was created was for them because we are natural beings. They're not. So it's like if black men my age knew that, man, listen here, we would be unstoppable. But because we unfortunately, and I can't blame them, but we are born in this system. We are born and taught from the time that we leave the hospital. We are taught to be and to integrate with these people. That's not who we are. And that's the reason why we have colorism and classism, because you got coons that want to feel superior because, again, like we said earlier, their oppressor have taught them how to do the same things that they've done. There is no unity between black people. Again, one white person could walk in a room of 10 black people, and those 10 black people are going to somehow try to make that cracker comfortable. Period. Or you could have 2 Hispanics in a room full of 15 black people, and these goddamn, as we call them in Miami, Chicos, will speak their language in front of all of us comfortably. You got me fucked up. You need to go amongst your own people and speak that shit, because you could be plotting. Get the fuck out. But black people don't think like that. We are too all-inclusive with these other nations, and we're not inclusive with each other. And another thing, too, let's just keep it real. I'm not no African. Africans don't even like black Americans. We come from a different nation than these people. Just because we're dark skinned and got woolly hair does not mean that we are the same as them. They know that we're not. They speak their French language and whatever it is that they speak, and they laugh at us. When we go in there, when the black American girls go in there to get their hair done, they laugh and talking shit while we paying them $120 to put that bullshit in our hair. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not like these people. We have to understand who we come from. Yes, black Americans may have been picked up from Africa, but we were not born. We're not African. We came over there. They knew we was different. They knew we didn't understand. We were not like them. They enslaved us and then sold us to them crackers. And not us in particular, but I'm just saying, you understand, because we come from royalty. I know I come from royalty. So it don't just begin with no slavery. But these white folks won't tell you that neither. So at the end of the day, I mean, if I could find me a black male that was in my that had my mentality around my age, like, man, it would just be something beautiful. But these people is either you hood and you don't want to prevail because you think it's white, or you too bougie and you trying to be white. It's no common ground. It's no middle. Let's get rich and still be black.
Mm-hmm. It should be somebody in the chat room for you, Brittany. I'm pretty. You've been watching the chat room, Sister Rashida. Somebody in the can't even hear you. Rashida. Somebody in the chat room. Raise your hand in the room. Brittany looking for a Black Panther type guy.
I'm listening. I ain't saying because what you're saying, you need to say it. It needs to be said. Speak your piece.
You know, Sister Brittany, you need to please Google my channel and all the things that you was talking about. Me myself, my channel basically focus on just to liberate us.
Right.
I don't really get off into the melanin thing and the we so superior and the cracker came from the caves and all that type of stuff. See, first of all, I don't believe in one person. To me, when we start talking like that, we start to sound like them because they say the same kind of stuff. Our brains is bigger and we do this and that and that. I don't want to get involved in all that type of thing because see, first of all, they really shouldn't even be here. We all evolved from a certain place and they shouldn't even be here anyway. They came from a climate that was different from this climate. So of course, if you come from that climate over here, you're going to have problems. Just like a lot of us, I'm not just like you was talking about, we're not Africans. I agree with that too. But also like many people from the African continent that come over here and they develop sickle cell anemia because they shouldn't belong here anyway. So their body reacting to a position where it shouldn't even have to do that. So you get sickle cell anemia and stuff of that nature. But I do wish you luck trying to find your Black Panther. I don't know. Brothers are sort of on the weak side. I don't know.
Let me just jump in here real quick here. And I just want to just quickly say this because I know we've been on here for, it's like almost, I got to get off of here. It's almost 1 o'clock. But I just want to say this right here. One of the main reasons why I started dark skin activism is because I love Black men so much.
Yeah.
And so I personally will never lose hope and lose sight of the fact that Black men are supposed to be with Black women.
Uh-huh.
That is a part of the dark skin activism. That's a part of what I am fighting for. So I understand where Brittany is coming from. I agree with what Brittany is coming from. And the reason why I started dark skin activism is because I want Black men, I want to encourage Black men to stay with Black women. That's how we build our nation. We cannot build our nation by running away from each other. That is not the answer. And I know that it is working and I'm always hopeful because I have seen the results of some Black men that I know. I wish I could get this one particular Black man to come on here. He was previously in a relationship with a non-Black woman and had children from her. And he, after coming to my show, after watching my commentary, this is the truth. This man sent me pictures of himself getting married to a beautiful, natural-haired, dark-skinned woman. I saw this. So I know that it can be done. You just have to keep pushing. That's the reason why I'm here. Yes, I do, Myron, but I gotta get out of here. I'm looking at the chat box. Myron, you talking about, hey, Rashida, do you have a problem with Professor Griff? I talked about Professor Griff, and yes, I do, but that's a whole nother live. That's a whole nother live.
And I was in I guess I have to know his name, but I was told that I was in the temple with Professor Griff back in the day when I think we were around the same age, Professor Griff, because I was like 18 or 19, he was too, in the temple number 7 back in the day before Public Enemy.
Yes. Y'all, you know what? This has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Your live is tearing me up, girl. They got so much. But that is cool, Angel. I think she fell off really quick.
Yeah, but I don't think they're really listening to what you have to say.
They're not.
I always say, I don't call us Black. I always refer to us as the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin.
The live?
The people of slavery.
Y'all there?
Yeah, you are the one keep falling off. We always in.
You know what? I don't know.
You go get a snack?
No, I didn't do anything. I was just talking and running my mouth. But y'all, you know what?
Still breaking up.
I was just saying, I think we done broke the record. I done broke the record for being on here for so long. I gotta get off of here.
Yeah, you need to get off of here. I need to get out of here too.
But what I definitely want to do, I want to thank Brittany for coming on here, man. I think this is the bomb. I want to thank Taalik for coming on here. I think y'all are great. I think y'all are wonderful. I enjoyed it, and I know
Taalik was amazing. Y'all were both amazing.
Yes, and so were you. And the people in the chat box they enjoyed you. Okay, let's keep that one. Y'all know y'all did. Don't act like y'all did. Okay, so I just want to say thank you to both of y'all. And real quick, y'all know I got to tell y'all to donate. Y'all need to donate money to me. Okay, y'all, all y'all watching, sit up here watching this. Don't sit up here and act like y'all ain't got no money. Y'all need to go to my GoFundMe. Thank you, Deej Tavern. I love you so much. Thank you. I see you on there. Y'all need to go to my GoFundMe and donate. Y'all need to go to my PayPal and donate. Y'all know where the money is going. I'm one of the rare YouTubers that don't lie about where my GoFundMe money goes to, because I don't produce show after show, book after book. Okay, donate. Okay, go to my GoFundMe and donate. Like, do it now. All right. Dara, Phil, True Female, My Tribe TV. I'm talking to all y'all on here that's watching.
Yeah, all the ones doing all that right. Make sure you double yours.
Exactly. And again, to everybody, I do not look like another race of a person. I do look fully black, and Rashida can attest to that. I guess she.
No, you do. I'm saying it. You do. Yes, absolutely. Of course. Go ahead. I'm up here losing my voice.
That's because we're done.
I think we're done. I'm sorry, y'all. We got a lot of people still on it. I'm telling y'all, they want us to stay on here all night. But y'all, we cannot sit here and stay on here all night. Don't y'all want to see us?
What, 4 hours?
Yeah.
3, almost 4 hours.
Oh my God. Y'all thought y'all were finna really hear about some Cardi B here. Y'all did hear about Cardi B. I said what I had to say about Cardi B and the light-skinned dude. I really want to go in.
Now, I do have one more thing about Cardi B before we leave. Didn't she diss dark-skinned black women and call them roaches or something like that at one point?
Oh, I gotta research that. I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question. If she did, I'm gonna be back on here again. I am. I'm not gonna even sit there and tell no lie to you. I'm not gonna lie. If she did, I don't like the accused. I don't know. I gotta research that one. I need some evidence. But I do know what she did to Lauryn Hill, and I don't like it at all. That's upsetting. But I'm definitely gonna research that. And yeah.
And hopefully next time I come on here, I have a camera, girl, because I do not have no camera on this damn computer.
Would you really come on camera? Would you?
Yes.
You will?
Yes.
Oh shit. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Y'all, I hope y'all listen to that she come on camera. Uh-oh.
She's a strong, independent black woman.
Jose Martinez said, good job, Brittany. Oh my God. Okay, y'all.
Thank you, Jose. I really appreciate it.
Lord, I cannot believe we've been on here for this long. Good night, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna get down.
Good night. Peace, everybody.
Good night.
See you later, Brittany.
Bye, Angel.
Good night.
Good night, Rashida.
The world's first and only dark-skinned activist, Rashida Strober, your favorite dark-skinned chick, Rashida Strober, the creator and the inventor of the science of dark-skinned activism, Rashida Strober, the creator of the first platform in the world for dark-skinned, Rashida Strober. Donate. Okay, I got my new book coming out called Token Dark Girl. Token Dark Girl. I'm about to drop that book probably next week. Token Dark Girl. Make sure y'all donate. All right, good night. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all.